Ladies and gentlemen, we're now live, and our guest is about to give us so much chaos that he actually went back and decided he was going to give us, well, let's just say maybe the Riot Act. He might even read the Riot Act to a slew of people that you've seen on this stream, and he better get his Coke because certainly he's going to be drinking and having a smile for sure because this man has done it and been a part of some of the most important parts of the hardcore scene throughout the past few years, and especially in 2023 and 2024. He has definitely delivered some total effing chaos with some friends of the show whose name you've probably heard of, named Hardcore. And you've also seen him all over the place, up and down the United States. And there's even some chaos members and guys out there in Canada across the border,
Right.
yes, the North border. And he's done it all, and it's always good to talk to a fellow New Yorker because he's from my state, but a different part of the state, and he'll talk about why that's important because he's done some different things like, oh, I don't know, this thing called National Teen Outsider magazine, or how about some stand-up comedy? How about being a huge integral part of the punk rock scene, the punk rock movement? Because we know Total Effing Chaos has been all about that. Total Effing Chaos is almost like, in a way, Baskin Robbins. You get 31 flavors of everything. You get your hardcore, you get your deathmatch, you get your punk, you get your satire, you get your travel, you get your magazine stuff. And I'll talk about some of the different people our guest has seen his guys in Total Effing Chaos wrestle, guys that have been on this show in the past. Like who? I don't know. This guy, Jimmy freaking Controversy. Yeah, everybody says that on this point. We'll talk about him. We'll talk about guys he's been on a bill with, like Mikey Anarchy and Obey, and maybe we'll talk about a show coming up here on September 21st with a slew of Sportswire radio favorites that I'm sure our guest knows. Like, I don't know, this guy Eddie Exile and Gabe Sayers. Yeah, everybody knows Gabe Sayers at this point. For whatever reason, seems to be riding Jimmy Controversy's coattails. I'm not quite sure why that might be. Maybe we'll talk about that later on, but we'll talk about some other people, maybe even some names like, I don't know, Madman Pondo and Masada and Judge Joja. We'll get into all that. We'll talk about some shows upcoming, and I'll maybe even mention a friend or two, plus who knows whatever else. Ladies and gentlemen, it is in great honor of mine to introduce this man. I've even got something for him in a few minutes. I'm going to present him because, for you even, because after all, everybody gives you the Riot Act. Everybody wants to say, for you, bring Total Effing Chaos. But I've got something that'll really, I guess you might want to say, show why you are the true outsider. But before I do that, since I know you've done many of these podcasts before, I'm going to do things a little different because after all, sir, we're in prime time, the brightest lights, the biggest stage, the only platform where all wrestling matters. And I'm going to give you an introduction that you haven't quite gotten in all of the many states and places you've been. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's get right to it here in prime time and introduce our guest without further ado. So, with that, without further ado, here on the Sports Report. Number one, Carroll. What show? Stand-up comedian, a founder of the National Teen Set Outsider. He is totally, simply put, effing chaos. His name is my friend, you alive after that or what?
What the fuck was that all about?
It's prime time, the brightest lights, the biggest stage. And I know you've been on some different stages, but this is the only one where you get an introduction that, well, let's just say it's like going to a punk rock concert. After all, you've been to a few of those and you've certainly tried your own hand at stand-up comedy. But the good news is for you, sir, we won't give you the hook and take you off the stage. We'll give you more than 5 minutes here, like the usual stand-up comedy routine you make.
Oh, that has happened to me before. I have gotten my microphone shut off before.
We'll
Yeah.
actually break the fourth wall for a second. I had a friend of, well, two friends of mine who tried the stand-up comedy scene, and I remember my one friend was like, "Hey, you want to hear some of my jokes?" And I'm like, "Sure." And he was telling me jokes, and I was like, for like
Sure.
15 minutes, and I was like, "Well, which was the funny one?" And I didn't laugh the entire time.
Oh,
That
not
was
a
kind
good
of
set.
basically, he did maybe a few things in the Lower East Side, and that's why
Okay.
he's not a stand-up comedian. And the other one, well, he had to pay for his time, and even the time he paid for, well, basically they still gave him the hook. But the good news is for you,
Wow.
you obviously had, more success than that. You're obviously an accomplished magazine head. You've been
Okay.
a part of a lot of things in the hardcore scene. So first of all, I mean, how you doing? I mean, let's obviously, cut to the chase.
Well, it's very stressful because we keep losing matches. We keep losing.
I heard you talk about that a month or so ago. I think on Instagram I saw that. I'm like, so what is going on then
I
these last few
we
months?
just keep getting screwed over. Every one of these wrestling shows we go to, something goes wrong. We keep losing. We're not winning our matches. It's not.
Do you need to give the group a pep talk? Do you need to maybe, I don't know, try to talk to the referee beforehand, change venues? I mean, what's going on there?
I think we just need to become more ruthless. I think we need to stop holding back. I think we're holding back too much. That's
Wait,
why we're losing matches.
time out. No, I've obviously known you for a while. Hardcore's been on the show, and I'm trying to, not trying to figure this out here. You guys are holding back. You guys,
We're holding back. We're
really? I
holding
mean,
back.
for the audience, I'm kind of curious. How would you guys, after everything I see you guys do for the past, I think Hardcore and I have been friends on Instagram for about a year by now. I mean,
Okay.
you guys are holding back.
That's why we're losing these matches.
Please tell the audience this. I would like to know.
We're holding back. People are not quivering in their boots when they know we're in town, like they need to be.
Why do
If
you
you
think
hear
that
total
is?
fucking chaos is coming to town, you should be nervous. You should know something bad's gonna happen to you if you have a match with one of us. People are coming at us too confidently, like they're not afraid of us, and that needs to change immediately.
Well, do you have an idea of how you would change that? Because obviously you are kind of the figurehead, the mastermind. I mean, do you have any ideas? Maybe different venues coming up, maybe this weekend and next month. I mentioned Hardcore Hangout in Amsterdam, maybe some things, I don't know, in September, maybe some other stuff coming up. I don't know. I mean, Skullfest. I mean, are there other things that maybe you could use some of the things you're saying here with us to kind of, well, maybe turn that around? I don't know. You tell me.
As a manager, I need to
Yes, sir.
study up on the tapes of all the other managers and all the other underhanded things they would do to make sure my guys don't lose. It's my job. I mean, my guys are talented on their own. They can handle this shit on their
I've had
own.
Hardcore here. I've known Hardcore, like I said, for almost a year. He was on this platform famously. Yes, I'm
Okay?
well aware.
But I am the final piece of the puzzle. I have to stop that referee from hitting 3 with my guys' backs on the mat.
Okay, well, maybe, I guess maybe the best advice, again, I'm not a manager. What do I do? I know we'll definitely get into it. Maybe less travel videos. Maybe less, obviously, Texas. We saw the whole thing on Instagram with the trip on Texas. Maybe, I don't know, less travel videos and more time and getting ready for in-ring competition, maybe. I don't know. I mean, asking a friend for the audience. And the chat is fired up right now, by the way. I can certainly
Here's
see that.
part of the problem.
Tell
is
me
that
the
we're
problem.
is that we're punks. We can't go to the gym. We can't go to the wrestling school. We're too punk. We can't fit in on that crew. So a lot of our time, a lot of our week is spent in bars. A lot of our week is spent at shows. Doesn't give us the appropriate amount of time to prepare for a match.
Maybe
So
you
that
guys
might
can
be a problem.
maybe you guys can go to an alley somewhere and find other like-minded punks. After all, you guys are all everywhere. We know Total F and Chaos is everywhere. I mean, have you thought about that idea? I mean, you know,
when we're in alleys, you don't want to come across as in an alley. I
Oh,
can tell
I'm well aware. I mean, as a fellow New Yorker, I've
you don't want to
basically.
come across any of us in an alley. I
Your hair
promise.
looks good tonight, by the way.
Yeah, because I know I was gonna be on TV.
We are actually, a lot of people are watching, but
Yeah, I knew I
it
was gonna be on TV. So yeah.
well, it's good to see that somebody actually took more care of their hair than I have usually. Because when I'm on this show, it's usually there's somebody else that is always talking about my hair. But it's good to see your hair. But obviously, it is good to see you. So I guess maybe I'll start things off. And so,
Okay.
how was Texas? I'm actually going to put the video up on the screen because we were talking about this
Please.
off the air. So we'll actually
Yeah.
we'll get to the chat in a few minutes because I always like to open things up with you. So I'll
Please.
put it up on the screen, and I still have something for you in a little while. I will present to you. But so what was Texas like as I put it up on the screen?
Well,
Here?
I had never been to Texas before, and
Really?
I've never been to Texas before, and I didn't know what to expect. You see things on TV, you see things in the movies. It was kind of like that. I mean, it actually was kind of like what you see on TV. But a lot of guys have giant guns. Like this place.
I would think that would be the case in Texas. I would think that's kind of
Yeah. So like we were doing our match and we were beating up two cops. You'll see the footage here in a second.
That was a clever idea, I suppose. I mean, you guys are punks after all. I guess that's
right. We beat up cops. So, anyways, we're beating up these cops, and there was a guy in the audience who I would describe as a Texas Ranger from a movie, like a James Arness Gunsmoke type guy.
I was
like,
thinking Walker, Texas Ranger, Once Upon a Time as well. Throw that
taller,
in
taller.
there. Yeah.
Big mustache though. And this guy stands up, and he's with his wife. And as soon as we started beating up the cops, he was like triggered.
Oh boy.
He grabbed the bottom rope of the ring and was shaking the rope, yelling at us. And I look, and he's got this gun on his leg, like this big gun. So I gave the guy some distance. I gave the guy some room. I got away from this guy. But my boys, D-Beat and Haven, they weren't scared at all. They were straight up just like, get the fuck in here, old man. Get the fuck in here, old man. I'm just like, because he looked like he was a state trooper or something. You know what I mean?
Well, in Texas, I'm sure everybody has a gun and everybody is somebody and somebody.
Yeah, so I was like, come on, don't fuck with this guy.
It's not like Blockbuster.
I don't want to get shot in the park, or I don't want to be shot or arrested in the parking lot of this place. But I hand it to DB and Avon. They didn't fucking flinch, But I was a little unnerved by that. Because we don't, we don't see the guns in the open. You know what I mean? In New York.
No, not in New York. No, not in New York. No, New York is like the complete total opposite of Texas. Yes, I'm well aware of it, especially more where I am more so than you are. But yes, point taken.
Yeah, but the food was really good there. I had some really good food there. A lot of Mexican food there.
I figured that. Tex-Mex, yep.
Avon has the hookup on all the good restaurants. He took me to some really good restaurants. I had a big steak at the Giant Texan place. Yeah, the food was delicious. I mean, I got drunk every night.
Where were you in this? Now, like, how an hour and a half this took you to walk from here with you and the guys? I mean, what on God's green earth? Literally, you were on God's green earth here. What were you guys doing here?
Just, exploring Texas. They took me around to all the fun places to go. There's a lot of fun stuff to see there. I recommend going to Texas. I had a great time. I did have a great time there. I do.
Obviously, Amarillo is the home of where, God rest his soul, speaking of the true OGs in hardcore wrestling, Mr. Terry Funk is from. So that had to be
DB showed me his house.
I know. I saw it on the video. And
yeah, he showed me his house. The ranch, the Double Cross Ranch. We saw it. Necro Butcher just moved there recently. He wasn't there yet, but they were hanging out with Necro Butcher the other night. So I mean, Amarillo was really fun. DB lives right on Route 66. There's lots of cool little stores and little bars and stuff, and I had a great time in Amarillo. Amarillo was wonderful, yeah.
So you definitely would like to go back in the future then?
Well, yeah, especially because DB and Avon are teaming up there down in Amarillo and Dallas. So I'd like to be there to manage them, keep them in line, make sure we win our fucking matches.
Yes, I see that. Obviously, that's been, something you want to do for the group. Let me ask you a general question,
Yeah.
because you've obviously with the group traveled a lot, and sometimes I get guys that come on here who travel a lot as traveling wrestlers. And I'm curious, are there places? I'll give you a two-prong question. First part, what are some of the favorite places you've visited with the group? And second, what are some places bucket list wise, realistically, you'd like to go with the group?
We're doing Portland in October.
I hear a lot of good things about Portland. We spoke about that on my show about 2 days ago with Aaron Blaze. We're talking about Portland. Absolutely. A lot of history there, sure.
We're doing Portland in October. So I've never been there before. I'm looking forward to that. We do Detroit a lot, even though Detroit's been pissing me off.
Well, we know Angie's from right there in Detroit, so that's obviously a connection there. Shout out to Angie, the lovely
shout out to Angie takes good care of Total Fucking Chaos.
Angie's the reason why we're speaking formally, so thank you, Angie.
Correct. Yes, thank you, Angie. And no, Detroit's been rough though, man. We didn't get booked on King of the Kill in the tournament for the second year in the fucking row.
Whoa, well, especially with what you guys have done and what Hardcore has done, you mean to tell me that you guys haven't been booked for that? I mean, hasn't you guys proven enough in this circuit that you guys that they can't have a King of the Kill without some total effing chaos?
That's what they said. They said we're not welcome, we're not invited. So I'm trying to think of a plan, a crazy plan. Look at that video. That's us beating up the cops. Look at them. Look at those cops.
I see that.
Those losers. They were trying to shut the show down.
What's the matter with them? Why can't they go fight crime? Why can't they go stand on the border somewhere?
We took care of it.
I see that. Yeah, I see you definitely. You throw a mean.
He kicked me in the knee. Kicked me in the knee.
Never kick a man down in his
punching
knee.
me in the head.
It's not good.
Oh, he handcuffed me to the fucking thing.
Well, I wasn't going to bring it up on the air, but we're watching the video, and you were back to alternate reality, I suppose. But
all right, so I'm trying to think of a plan to take care of Ruthless Pro Wrestling, because they didn't invite us to the fucking King of the Kill tournament, the biggest show of the fucking summer. They didn't invite us.
Yeah, Ruthless Pro. I actually know Ruthless Pro Wrestling. That's in is it Chicago, if I'm not mistaken, right out there.
He's from Toledo, but he runs Chicago. He runs Detroit. Yeah.
There's a couple of guys I know out there from that scene. Yeah, for sure. And then we see the Funkster's picture, and listen for a second. That looks like Terry Funk.
Yeah, they did a good job on that mural. Yeah.
And it's a really, really nice picture there. Okay, so maybe we'll hopefully get things back together. But my advice would be, don't tell the plan here live on this platform, considering the amount of people watching us right now, that I would certainly say
I don't have a plan yet.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Even if you did have a plan, my advice, I tell wrestlers all the time who come on here, especially some you've obviously, shared a locker room with, never tell the story here or the plan, because it'll go and your opponents will find out.
Fucking know. Yeah, everybody. No, I know that much. And all I know is that I'm pissed, and I'm not gonna take this again. I'm not putting up with this. I can't. It makes the whole group look bad.
Well, that's why you want to still finish the year with a bang, literally, and with a bang coming up and such. And I'll take this off for now, and I'll put this up here. So if you are on Instagram and you want to follow Will, I'll put up some other links here shortly. But you have a bunch of links here. You want to get some merchandise. You want to get some blood, like certainly Will has. You want to get some other stuff here. We have a whole bunch of list of other posters and photos. Also, if you want to follow Total Effing Chaos, you can do that right here on the Total Effing Chaos Instagram page. There's a long list of them. Chuck Stein, I know very well. Chuck has been a huge part of the scene, and they're also going to be a part of a show that actually I've been talking about quite a bit over the past few weeks. It's the Hardcore Hangout in Amsterdam, New York. Many friends of the show are actually going to be a part of that, and I see Total Effing Chaos is going to be a huge part of that.
You gonna be there?
I'm not, unfortunately, because I unfortunately would love to, but I always tell people, if I'm going to be there, you'll know about it. But at the moment, Eddie Exile asked me about it, who's coming back here Saturday night, because he's in a feud in the UWF, which I know a place you've definitely run through a few times. But maybe Eddie Exile will convince me and I'll change my mind. But Eddie Exile asked me, Rob O'Malley, who's going to be there, who just pulled out of the All Wrestling Matters Hardcore tournament, is going to be there. And of course, some other people, Jeff Nova, I know very well, and Gabe Sayers, everybody knows Gabe.
The big look at this poster though.
Yes,
you got that Kyle.
Yes, I see it. I see it.
Hardcore right there in the middle.
Well, that's because he's always front and center of things. He's just hardcore, and
Right up
you
on
know,
top there's Casanova Valentine.
I see
Do
Casanova
you
Valley. I
see?
see
Do you see that total fucking cast lightning bolt going into
I
his
do.
brain? Do you see that?
That's probably what you wanted to do when I introduced you the way I did. You probably wanted like lightning to strike to me. As Ozzy famously had a song on The Ultimate Sin, Lightning Strikes. You would have liked lightning to have struck me with that introduction because you obviously were not a fan of that introduction. But I'm a fan of this poster and I'm a fan of watching you guys
Yeah,
go out there in the ring. So
yeah.
those are some places. Let me get to the chat because a lot of people want to say hello to you. I'm going to take this
Okay.
off the screen for now. And I like to get a chance to people to say hello to you. So I have a few
Yeah.
things I need to say outside of this. So let me go do that here. So first of all, there is Angie. Yes, the lovely Angie, who's obviously getting her snacks ready. So, what snacks are you
Yeah.
having
What
right
snacks? What
now? What
snacks?
snacks? I know I'm not having snacks. I have a superstition because I do this every night. I've been on the air for like 100 days straight or something like that. I don't eat like 2 or 3 hours before I go on the air because I'm like superstitious to get a stomach ache. So Angie can have the snacks for me. I'm very superstitious. I've been doing this for 6 years, and it's taken me this long to get to where we have an audience, and I'm very much like a repetition. I'm very much
Sure.
like,
Sure.
my dad.
Angie and I were almost shot and killed the other week.
Oh, would you want to tell it? Would you want to tell the story for the audience? Because I'm sure I
Yeah.
see many friends of mine would love to know about how did you and the lovely Angie almost get shot? What happened on that?
We were driving around in Detroit. And have you heard of this place? Detroit? Have you heard of this place?
Yes, I have. I knew about 10 years ago Detroit was supposed to be like the equivalent of like the Bronx was burning like in 40 years ago and worse. So
Right,
yeah.
right. So we were driving around and we were at a red light, and I start hearing fireworks. And she goes, "Those are not fireworks. The cars behind us are shooting at each other." And it was just one car shooting into the other car. And then we ran the red light, and they ran the red light, and that went off for like 3 red lights. And I was like Mr. Magoo. I felt no danger. It's like, oh, what is it? The 4th of July? Oh, these kids are having a great time out here. And she's
It
like,
might
no.
be every day in Detroit like that.
She's
It
like,
might
no,
be
people are shooting at each other like 6 feet away from us. We're getting the fuck out of here. And I was like, huh? Like, what? What's going on? Really? So, are you sure? She's like, yep, I'm very sure.
Well, that's funny because I'm going to then say nothing because like this whole summer has been like 6 instances. I was walking randomly in my neighborhood and like guys were just like yelling at me and I thought I was going to like get like jumped out of like these guys were going to fight me. Just New York City's like that. New York City's just like random people,
Yeah.
it's just that's very New York City. Yes, but that pales into comparison what you went through. But glad you guys are okay. Mr.
I felt no danger.
The only time I've ever been in an instance like that, I was a kid. I had to have been like 10 or 11 in Brooklyn. There's a big intersection called Flatbush Avenue. And I remember my parents, we were in a cab ride coming home to the other side of Brooklyn, which was where I grew up. And there was like, it was like really late at night, like 12 o'clock in the morning, these loud cars. And it was like basically tinted windows. And like, I didn't know if the guys were going to like shoot each other up, but that's
Sure.
That was a long time ago, but let's move on. My buddy Ox McCoy is in the house. Ox will be here Thursday. He is always bound in blood, sends his messages in blood, and he reigns in blood. And he's very excited. Yes.
We like Ox. We like
Ox. I love Ox. Ox is one of I talk to Ox almost every day. Also, my buddy here, your buddy Jonathan. Thank you, Jonathan, for following me on Instagram and YouTube. I appreciate that. I'm almost getting.
What is that cartoon? What is that?
Ren and Stimpy.
Is that Ren and Stimpy?
It might be. It might be Ren and Stimpy, maybe.
All right, moving on.
Well, I'm sure Jonathan will tell us what that is. I want to say hello to my buddy, Mr. Jake Dvorak. I think you know Jake, right? You know Jake Dvorak?
UWF. Do I know you, Jake Dvorak?
You might. Maybe you've crossed paths with them. TF Crew. I think he was on one of the TF Crew shows you're on. It's possible. Okay. I think he's run into a lot of people. But Jake
I'm looking at a teeny tiny little picture of the guy, and I don't know.
He's not teeny tiny though in real life. He's got a lot of tattoos. Probably a guy that would fit in your group pretty well. He actually is a guy that would really fit in the group. And
I'm trying to find less guys with beards.
Oh well, he technically, if I'm not mistaken, I'm sure Jake will kill me for this, but I think he shaved his off or trimmed it in the last week. So
then we'll talk. Then let's talk.
You might have a shot, and he's from Massachusetts too. Maybe you like Massachusetts better than Texas.
I like both. I liked Texas.
Well, Jake's here next Wednesday, so I'm sure Jake will have a few things to say about this.
I'd like to talk. Jake.
I can arrange that. But maybe you guys know each other. I feel like you guys know each other already.
We might
He's
know. I
been on.
see a teeny little
He's been on.
picture.
Yeah, he's been on TF Crew shows, so you definitely, I'm sure, know him. Yes,
Okay.
Angie, I appreciate that. Also, Ox formally wants to say hello to both of us.
Hi, Ox. Hi,
It's
Angie.
Tom, not Tim, but thank you, GAC, who's always in my chats. Sean Jovi's very excited. He is the resident rock star, America's resident rock star from Wisconsin.
Wisconsin.
Yes, he's a vlogger.
Hey, Sean, where is Iowa near Wisconsin?
I actually is Iowa. As a matter of fact, it's funny you said that because Sean Jovi is wrestling in Iowa this weekend, and he wrestles with Mr. McCoy, and he wrestled Ox McCoy a couple of times. Maybe you know Sean Jovi.
I'm coming to Iowa for the first time at the end of the month.
Really? Well, he's going to be there this weekend.
Sean Jovi, send me a message about this place.
I'll take care of that after we're off the air. I'll give Mr. Jovi, because you're a busy man. I'll give Mr. Jovi your contacts, and I'm sure Mr. Jovi.
I'm gonna be in Iowa the last week of August.
Mr. Jovi is also a very good friend of a man I'm sure you know very well, Mr. Rad Dad Radley Belmont. That ring a bell?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, everybody knows Rad Dad. When I say Rad, it's like saying the man. Yeah. When I said Jimmy Controversy at the beginning, you were like, When I say Rad Dad, it's always like a different. Rad Dad. You know, really like when I say Rad Dad, it's like, oh, you're friends with Rad Dad. I said, yes, I'm very good friends with Rad Dad. Like, okay, I like you again. I'll come back on
we like that.
Yes. Hello there, Kitty. How you doing, Kitty? She says hello to you.
What's
so
up,
you
Kitty?
obviously have some fans. If you have some fans,
hey, how you doing
ACAB includes Jimmy Controversy. Yes,
obviously, 100%. Obviously.
Yes. Plug your ears. We're way behind in comments. I told you would get a big crowd tonight. Sean Jovi was laughing. Yes, I'm sorry about Bob Newhart. Bob Newhart, was he like 193 when he died? Was he like
he's 147?
I was close, I was so close. And yeah, Ox has been here before, so he knows the drill. And he went and took a leak, and I was still going. Yes, that's actually true. Yeah, you could have did that. Punk shows. Yes, I know you guys have been a part of some of that stuff. Yes, but I was saying in terms of your own background in Rochester. But thank you, Fanny.
And she's talking shit. Well, she thinks I'm a juggalo. She's trying to tell everyone I'm a juggalo.
Well, I would say if you are here, hit the sub button for me, because I'm trying to get to 1,000 subs. And why is 1,000 subs important? Because I'm allowing. So if I get to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, and I'm actually almost there, I'm going to allow anybody and everybody to come onto Sportswire and roast me, like Tom Brady was roasted on Netflix.
Well, I'll be there. I'm
going to allow you. So I tell you what, because I know I'm going to get to 1,000 subscribers. I'm already almost there. In fact, I even have my own mother actually watching my shows now for the first time. It took me 5 years to get to this level. She's like, how come I didn't see you didn't see your links? I'm like, here you go. So that's how long it's taken me to get to this far.
Why are you torturing your mother like that?
No, well, actually, she asked me about the show. She was like,
she was just trying to be nice. She was just trying to.
No, we have 24 people right now watching us at this point. That was 5 years ago. We're in prime time now. I had 13,000 views the last 2 months. I don't think people are being pushed. So that's why we have a lot of people out there, and I appreciate that.
I'm getting ready for the roast. Well,
the roast of that. Now bring that. I tell you what, save that for the roast, because the roast is going to happen, and I want 1,000 subscribers before my birthday, which is October 7th. So I want to make sure you're here on right before October 7th. I don't know about this. I would know nothing or anything about this, but I don't know if you have a tramp stamp, and I don't want to know if you have a tramp stamp. So I'm going to move on there, if you don't mind. Yeah, we'll move on. I'm supposed to hate you, but he liked the comment. You're a closeted juggalo. Is that true?
No, it's not true. Who told you? Who's spreading these rumors?
Well, I don't know, but I'm gonna say there's a lot more comments where that come from.
Oh God.
Sure.
Okay.
Will, do you look like you have a resting angry face?
Yeah, I'm mad. I have a lot to be upset about.
Being here is one of them, and
Big
Texas trip, and not winning so much this year. And hearing Jimmy Controversy's name, and
that's a lot. No, not cool, man.
It's a tough night for you. Who does your eyebrows, Will?
What?
Who does your eyebrows?
Huh?
It's funny. It's funny this comes up as we're here, of course, with Mr. Will Carroll of Total FPS. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice figurative in literary World Wrestling Matters. I had asked my guests yesterday, Omen Black and Soldier GP, and I was about to ask them, hey, do you ever have what's called ring rats at any of your shows? And then Soldier, who was the other guest, he said, oh, well, my wife's right next to me. I don't think I could answer that one. Would this be many of your fans, I suppose? But Okay, we'll move on here. Hello, yes, hello to Sean Jovi, but we're here with Will Carroll.
The
Andrew
guests are
Lovelace.
saying hello to each other. Okay.
Yes,
All
well,
right.
that's what this is a big deal to come on
Oh,
here.
that's fine.
Andrew
Okay. Yeah.
Lovelace, who is the kind of the resident DJ of Sportswire Radio, his tag team partner
Okay.
is here tomorrow. His
Okay.
name is Max the Hammer, who's basically doing a Steven Regal 1998 gimmick with an MC Hammer last name. How will
That's
that
pretty
go
cool.
over
That's pretty
tomorrow?
good.
It
That's
might go over. It might go over well. We'll have to find out though.
Can I
Uh,
tell you? Can I tell you a guy I dealt with the other day?
you can tell me anything you want. You're live
He
right now.
he was an alien hunter,
Mm.
and he came to the rinks. We were bullying some kid. We were beating this kid up. Okay.
Oh, okay. I got you.
And an alien hunter came out because I have green hair. He thought I was an alien.
That would be next week going to the movies.
And then and then he grabbed me and he took me away. This happened just last night.
Wow, you really are. You see a lot out there in the world, boy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wouldn't want to be in your shoes, sir.
A lot happens. Yeah.
I'll tell you what.
Dude, a kid super kicked me in the fucking face on Saturday.
You could be like maybe the new host of like Unsolved Mysteries or something like that.
I hope not.
Well, you might be. You could certainly do something out there. And Jonathan wants you to say maybe you should pay off a ref.
I've done it before, and that actually does work.
It does?
That actually does work.
They take the money, but does the outcome change?
Yeah. If you can afford it, if you can find a referee is supposed to be honorable, but find that special, you find that the referee that'll take the payday.
It's funny in real life. That's actually, I'm not a referee in real life, but I actually sort of am because I'm a notary public, and that's kind of like my job in real life to kind of, solve and sign things that help people resolve disputes and problems.
Right.
And people are always like, well, why weren't you a referee? I'm like, well, I was friends with guys that played college basketball, and they told me they went to referee school and it didn't work out. So we'll move on here. Sean Jovi says hello, Zilla. Anthony Steele, who was supposed to be my guest, but we got you instead because you're total effing chaos.
You're better off with me. Anthony, what was Anthony Steele gonna do that I couldn't do?
He's very well known in the circuit. He's a very well known figure, but you're obviously total effing chaos. So,
goodbye, Anthony Steele. Get out of here.
No, we don't want. We want everybody to stay and say hello. No, please
get out of here, Anthony Steele. Get out of
here. Stay, and certainly say hello. Gotta start branding fools in the ring with the TFC logo. Do you have like a branding iron with like the TFC logo? That would actually be pretty cool.
I need one because
Angie could probably come up with that. If there's anybody that could come up with it, would be Angie.
Then they'll know. That I ran into total fucking chaos last week. Look,
Yes, I see. I really do see that. Zilla says hello. Zilla is like the resident bot. We call her like the bot of Sportswire, but she says she's not a bot, but she just says like hello to everybody and just praises them all. So
hello.
Omen Black wants to say thank you for the show last night. Omen, I want to, if I could for a second, I'd like to wish Omen very well. Omen has been going through some things outside of wrestling, and I want to continue to say anything, Omen, I could do for you. Just let me know. Hit me up. You know where to find me. I'm here every night if you want to talk to me off the air. And he's been going through a couple things personally. I just want to give him my thoughts.
Question.
Yes, sir.
Is Omen Black related to Rob Black?
Oh, no, not quite.
Then we're good. Okay.
Yeah, actually... it's funny if I could mention Omen for a second because you talked about going to Iowa at the end of the month, correct?
Truth, yes.
He's actually from Iowa, so maybe you could link up with Mr. Black. He actually is from outside of Palo, Iowa. He's actually kind of a big deal in his town. See Cedar Rapids, he's also nearby, and
I don't know what part of Iowa I'm going to.
Well, I can connect you with Mr. Black, and obviously this is technically, technically this is his platform. Technically this is his platform. So he just wanted to pay his respects to you. But no, he's not related to Rob Black because Jimmy Controversy actually had a long rant on Rob Black when he was here last month. So I'm not going to ask you about Rob Black. So
a good one or a bad one? He loves that guy. They love each other.
Well, I'm going to go and say no comment on that. Just move on. I got too many comments here. Let's move on. I actually do have a good one though for you. Mm-hmm. Memories on working for XPW and thoughts
there it is right there. Okay. Yeah. I really enjoyed all the people I worked with. I really miss a lot of the guys, and it's been cool to run into them other places. Like when I left XPW, it was like, am I ever gonna see Schlack again? And I see him all the time. You know what I mean? So like, it was quite the experience going to LA. Every other month. It was a lot of fun. The thoughts on Rob Black. He actually showed up at my show in Rochester on Saturday, and it was kind of like seeing an ex-girlfriend. I kind of I was walking towards the front of the building, and I saw him standing there, and I pivoted and just immediately turned the other direction. And he kind of covered his face. And both of it was like seeing like an ex-girlfriend. So it was not pleasant to see Rob Black on Saturday, but I did see him on Saturday. Cat Martini was a nice enough person, but and I'll say this right now, I think I'm pretty happy to see the state of their company right now. That gives me a little bit of happiness.
Yeah, I'm gonna just say no comment and move on because I think that's
whatever. Yeah, I mean, whatever.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Also, I respect Will Carroll too. I told you Zilla would give you some kind words. And
thank you, Zilla.
Omen said thank you to everybody in the family. Yes, we all love each other. And thank you, Omen, for your support. Kitty gave you an emoji, which I don't even know what the emoji is.
Is it a frog?
Maybe. Kitty, clarify. Kitty, we have a lot of comments. I'm like way behind in comments. I told you this would be a show you'd like to be on. Breaking the fourth wall. Portland. Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about Portland. I think that was Roddy Piper and Sergeant Slaughter were from
Roddy Piper, Sergeant Slaughter. Yeah, that's where Kitty is from, Portland.
Oh, we love Portland. Portland was also where they originally made Nikes, I think, if I'm not mistaken, before it turned into what it is now. But Nikes and Avia. But it's a different conversation for a different time. Yes, we love Omen. Ask Will. Oh, I think we talked about that already.
We did. We got to that. Yeah, we covered that one. Yeah.
If you would just call on the Juggalo family in Detroit, you would all be set. You want to comment on that? You want to elaborate at all?
Do you really believe that's true? I feel like they lose all the time. I feel like Juggalos are more likely to lose than punks.
You know, it's funny. I actually, this came up. I was listening to a podcast this morning, and actually, conversely, this topic came up, and it was the other way around. And people would say that no, the Juggalos would win over the punks because the Juggalos are more rabid and they're almost like
who the hell said that?
Well, it was a podcast I was listening to.
A Juggalo podcast, probably.
No, actually, it wasn't. It was actually somebody who had no side with either person.
Like a respectable newsman or something? Who's talking about Juggalos and punks?
Well, I would say that I'm going to say that's what their opinion. My opinion would be we'll see what happens. Time will tell. But
no, Juggalo can't beat a punk. Where's this information?
Well, I got a lot of comments. So let me move on to the comments. The chat is here live. How's it going, fellas?
Who are those people?
Darkron is a good friend of mine. He is the man that created an event called Summer Bash, which was a big deal in the backyard. It was in Bremen, Ohio. They're having another thing called the Backyard Havoc, November 9th and November 10th. So,
do you need us to come? It's outside in November in Ohio. That sounds cold.
Well, actually, they're gonna do it inside because he has like so his house is like almost like a compound. Think of like Terry Funk's like ranch, like in Amarillo. Darkron's got a property like Ohio style with that. So Darkron can he's gonna do it inside. And this guy, big man Cam, he's gonna basically grill. He's like 6'17" with the size 39 shoe. You could probably use him in the group. He's friends with AJ from Top Dollar. He's got some really big friends. So.
Yeah, we'll go. Yeah, I'll come. We'll go. Sure. Tell him we're coming. Fine.
I'll let him know. Let's just
let him know we're coming. Let him know we're coming.
Okay. Yes, sir. Okay. Granny Goth Raunchy. Hey, Will.
Hi,
Granny,
how are you? How are you?
That.
How are you?
Yes, I want to. If I could, for a second, I want to give prayers. I'm glad somebody brought this up here for a second, but also I want to give a shout out to my buddy, Mr. Judas. Judas was on my platform last week, and the reason that's as important is I give him a moment of good words here. He's actually in ICU right now in the hospital. He's in intensive care, and he has a diabetic issue. And I want to give him my thoughts and prayers, and also to his family. And I just want to let them know that I am certainly praying for them. Everybody on the Sportswire family is praying for him. And he's become a favorite of ours. He's become a staple here on Sportswire over the past few months. And I want to give a shout out to all of his fans, all of his family, friends out there in Marion, Ohio, and all Legendary Wrestling. So, Judas, we're praying for you. We're pulling for you. We hope you do well, buddy. And I'm going to see you here real soon on Sportswire Radio. So hang in there, and we're going to definitely see you soon. And you got this. Want to say hello to my buddy, Mr. Comatose, who said good evening to the GOAT of the BYW Voices, which is yours truly, but not so fast because he wants to say hello to you as well. Comatose
Is that really what they look like? Is that the mustache they really have?
he doesn't quite look like that, but he almost does look like that, actually. Comatose is from Idaho. Have you been to the state of Idaho yet by any chance?
Where the fuck? I don't even know where the fuck that is.
But you go into Oregon. It's not too far from Idaho, actually.
Okay. I'll keep an eye out.
He's a butcher, too, by the way. He could, like, kill things.
A butcher. Okay. Yeah. All right. I'm listening.
He's a butcher. Yeah, you'd like him. You'd like him. I'm telling you, he's got charisma. He can move a bit in the ring. He can talk. I mean, he kills things for a living. I mean, I'm just saying, Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. Oh, that's the photo.
Okay.
Yeah,
thank you, John.
Thank you. I didn't know. I actually didn't know. Where in Idaho? Where in Iowa? I live there.
I don't know. Okay. I have no idea. It's a biker swap meet at the end of the month. I guess it's a big deal.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
I'm working it though.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm sure
you can come hang out. Oh my God, I'd be so happy to see you, dude.
You would love to see Ox. Yes, Ox is a good man. Ox is.
It's a big biker swap meet in Iowa.
What are you drinking right now?
What's with all the fucking questions?
Well, you're live on the air. I mean, it's a show. It's almost like a late night talk show for the backyard underground independent wrestling circuit, pretty much. But let me get to more comments. I told you you'd have a lot of comments. Craven Rage, who I don't think I think he doesn't quite know what ring rats means. He thinks it's ring rats like rats inside the ring. No, I was talking.
Can I expand on that?
You can say anything you want right now.
There's a wrestling company locally in Rochester, and the ring has ants.
I probably know this company is, sadly, right? I probably do. Rochester.
Maybe you do, maybe you don't, but there are ants.
Let's not mention them then.
No, I don't give a fuck. Somebody smashed through a door. I don't give a fuck. Somebody smashed through a door on Saturday, and I looked in the broken door, and it was full of fucking carpenter ants.
Well,
what do you think of that? What do you think of that?
I think that obviously they haven't cleaned the ring.
Yeah,
they didn't clean the ring. That's
yeah.
I don't.
And they let a kid super kick me in the fucking face.
I don't think I'll be showing up and showing up to their shows anytime soon. Whatever happened to that? Well, Jonathan's got a good question. Whatever happened to that stop sign I gave you in Hardcore?
It's in Mike Burns' car, and then Mike Burns crashed his car. So I don't know.
Maybe the sign was used to help him. Damage with the crash. I don't know.
To flag down the tow truck. I don't know.
I got a lot more comments here. Let me get to it here. It's a cat emoji. Oh, cat emoji. Yes,
that didn't look like a cat.
I don't know that, but I have still many more comments here.
That didn't look like a cat. All right,
I'll pull it back up. You tell me. Okay, we'll go play the tail of the tape here. I have the emoji.
That's not a cat. That's not a cat. What cat is that?
Right, for the chat, do you think it's a cat or do you not think it's a cat? If you're for the cat lovers out there, is it a cat emoji or is it something else? I don't know.
Looks like a potato.
Well, Idaho, Comatose is from Idaho. He's probably like, grown.
Can someone identify this potato?
You would be good. I would love to see you in Idaho, by the way. You would actually, you in Total F and Chaos, you and Chuck and DB and Hardcore.
Sure. What's the weather like there? Is it hot?
Not in the winter. It's probably it's probably more colder than Rochester.
Okay.
Okay, so thinking about it.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it.
All right, fair enough. Your hair will still look the same.
That's the only thing that really matters. Okay.
Coaster wanted to say in honor of Judas, he's been watching a lot of Terry Funk and Mick Foley matches, whether it was ECW or they have, I think, one in '98, maybe one in WWF '98, like one or two at some point, right?
Wasn't there one where it was like one of those like WWF Saturday night special things, and they fought, and it was like in a bar or something?
Yes, that. Are you talking about the original Shotgun Saturday Night with WWF? That was. They shot them actually. I used to watch it. It was channel 55 here in New York City. And I was a little kid, and my parents didn't know I stayed up and watched it. But it was, I think it was in the Manhattan Center, the old Manhattan Center.
Yeah. That's a good one. That's a good one.
That was the one. Also, I don't think it was that same show, but there was one episode where the Undertaker did a tombstone pile driver onto Triple H onto the escalator.
Oh, yep.
So there you go. See, that was
Yep.
a
No,
good one.
that's
Yep.
good shit.
So that
We
was
love Mick Foley and Terry Funk matches.
absolutely too bad.
Okay,
Mick Foley, he's not going to have one more match. He was trying for one more match at 60, and he said, "Well,
let's see what happens. They all say I'm done, and then they come, here they are.
yeah, well, I
I don't
think I've
think any
answered it.
wrestler.
If you want to answer it for Zilla anyway, you are in a group called Total Effing Chaos. I'll put the link up for
Put the
basically,
link up. Yeah,
I'll
put the
put the
link
link
up.
up so people can follow you. But yes, Zilla, if
Let me talk to Zilla for a second here.
you absolutely can. Yes, sir.
Total fucking chaos is the meeting of punk and wrestling that has never happened before. We have guys all. We're like a punk NWO. We have guys all over the country, all guys all over the world. I'm talking to a guy in Australia right now.
Really? Who in Australia? Because I just had on a guy from Australia, literally on this platform. I mean, I don't think
Not
it's
related to Rob Black. His name is Xavier Black.
No, this was not. It was
No,
Yoshi
my guy. He's got a
Okay.
mohawk. And he's
Mhm.
cool. I've been talking to a guy in Australia. We might be going to Australia, is what I'm saying.
Wow. Well, don't go there now because it's like winter there right now in Australia. You know that, right? It's like
How would I know that? How would I know that? I don't know that.
because you're everywhere.
I don't know. I never checked the weather. I never checked the weather.
Well, why? Do you want a surprise? A shocking surprise? Shocking awe?
I just don't have time to do something like that. Do you know how busy of a man I am?
Yes, and
Time to check the
you
weather.
have to get that hair the way it looks. You have to make sure that hair looks, perfect to the T. I don't know.
If there's too much humidity, it fucks my hair up.
Well, in New York, the humidity has been through the roof until the last couple of days. So I'm very happy about that. But yes, prayers to Judas and his family. Yes, absolutely agree. I got a good question from Comatose. This is a great question, probably the most legitimate one of the night. What paved your way into wrestling? Who were the guys that gave you inspiration? And thank you, Comatose, for sharing our link on Instagram.
We appreciate that.
Great question.
As far as being a manager goes, definitely Jimmy Hart more than anybody, because he knew how to be funny, he knew how to take all the bumps, and he knew how to win the matches. So Jimmy Hart definitely. All that Andy Kaufman footage is really what got me to where I am today, to be honest with you. So like there was an HBO special they played all the time, and I think there was another documentary from like the early 90s that I watched thousands of fucking times when I was like a teenager, And Jimmy Hart and Jerry Lawler were a big part of that, but making wrestling be something that it's not just tough guys trying to look cool and beat each other up. There's a story, there's character work and comedy. And when I'm on a lot of these indie shows and I talk to I'm in a little bit of a position where I am not a new guy, you know what I mean? So
I know that.
So like the younger kids kind of will ask me for advice sometimes, and I tell them Stone Cold Steve Austin was funny. The Rock was funny. John Cena was funny. They're not just tough, cool guys. If you can be funny and deal with egg being on your face a little bit, that's what gets you over. Kurt Angle was one of the best wrestlers of all time, but he was fucking funny. That's why we talk about it. That's why he is who he was.
What advice would you give to any up and coming wrestlers? I get a lot of them have come on this platform. Do you have any advice for them?
Absolutely. I know people that have gotten to TNA without doing any cool moves just because they were entertaining and funny. Don't hold back on the comedy. Don't hold back on the storytelling. Don't hold back on the entertainment. You don't have to win to get over with the audience. You don't have to look tough. You don't have to look cool. The guys that are the weirdest are usually the guys that get over the best. So being as weird as possible gets you over. Another one of the people that really inspired me, but probably my biggest inspiration right now, is Dan Housen. Because Dan Housen got over during COVID when there were no wrestling shows. He was just weird on the internet.
He used social media to his advantage. He got himself the ability to be seen and heard in millions of homes and didn't even have to do anything for it. And shows the power of social media. And I think also, in a way, I could see a little bit of a similarity with you and Jimmy Hart because of both your backgrounds. Jimmy Hart
Mhm.
obviously was very successful in the music world
Yep.
outside of wrestling. You've had the magazine for a long time. You've done
Yep.
other things. So maybe those traits you're also relating to Jimmy Hart because he was very
Oh, absolutely.
successful before he got
Yep.
into wrestling, and maybe you see the same in yourself.
Absolutely. And nothing about the guy looks like a wrestler. You know what I mean? He's just a skinny, kind of a nerdy, spastic guy. And like, I've never been athletic enough to be a wrestler, but he knew how to take all the bumps. I know how to take the bumps. If I have to get in there and do something stupid, I can get in there and do something stupid. But I've never been, a wrestler visually. You know what I mean?
Sure, sure. Great stuff there. Thank you, Comatose. Comatose was here last Monday in your chair, and he's going to be back here in a couple of weeks. So let me get to some more comments. I have plenty of them here. No White Claw tonight?
No, Angie, because I'm really upset about all the things going on that I had to switch to vodka Coke.
I'm so sorry.
I'm so upset about not being on King of the Kill. I'm upset about losing these matches. I'm upset that I got beat up this weekend at EWF and Ground Zero. I got beat up, and an alien hunter grabbed me and took me away, thinking I was a fucking alien. So, no, I'm not happy.
Reminds me of the Howard Stern episode years ago where Sammy Hagar basically said, I believe in aliens and I see them all the time. And maybe you see aliens too, huh? No?
Yeah, and that's not, I'm not happy about that.
I'm sorry to hear. I'm sorry to hear.
Not happy with it. This is not.
I'm very sorry. I apologize.
I'm not happy about this.
Okay, a couple of comments have already been said, so I'm going to come back off those. But also here, first, that's a demon cat. Secondly, Idaho gets 12-foot walls of snow in a lot of places. It's freezing here in the winter, perfect in the summer.
Okay, cool. Great.
4 times, so I'm going to move off with that. What happened with CM Punk? Now, I saw on Instagram you were calling him out when you were in Chicago not too long ago. Do you want to share something about this for the audience?
Yeah, okay. Everybody knows he's not a real punk. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows he's embarrassing punk rock in general. And everybody knows that if you Google the word punk, his name's popping up before the Sex Pistols now. He's more famous off of something that he doesn't deserve. So I had Chuck go out, walk around Chicago looking for him. I had to lie down and take a nap. I didn't go. I wasn't feeling well.
I'm sorry.
No, that fucking Remington Roar fucking put a shark tooth styrofoam head into my skull. That's another issue. That was another bad night. That was one of the many bad nights I've had.
I was also thinking the irony of CM Punk is that he doesn't come out to a punk song. He comes out to Living Color, Cult of Personality. So
like the least fucking punk song you could ever find.
I was gonna pretty much actually say that, to be objectively speaking. He comes out to like the most non-punk song in history, and
right.
He's got a Pepsi logo practically on his
giant arm there.
Yeah, I mean,
I sent. All right, so we lost our fucking match. Okay.
Yes,
we lost our fucking match against Remington Roar for the Kamikaze title. Okay, we lost our fucking match after driving all the fucking way to goddamn Chicago. I say, you know what, Chuck, you need to go find CM Punk. You need to go out there, just walk around the streets looking for him. And that's the last time I saw Chuck. I don't know what happened since then.
Oh,
okay. I had to go. But he might still be in Chicago right now walking around. He had his barbed wire bat with him. And he went off down the street looking for him.
And the irony of this was I just saw CM Punk on my screen on Raw like 5 minutes ago. The irony of Angie and the CM Punk reference, but that's a different thing for a different time.
So maybe Chuck didn't find him.
No, he did not. He did not. But
all right, hear me out. Send this to him. Send this to CM Punk. We gotta know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody.
I'll make sure I tag him on Instagram tomorrow, Wednesday. I'll do it on TikTok because I'm actually on TikTok now, so I'm doing well on TikTok. So okay,
what are you, like 12? What do you mean TikTok?
I'm on TikTok. Yeah, TikTok. Okay. Actually,
here's This is what he needs.
we have a regular guy on this show. His name is James Taylor, and he has 87,000 followers on TikTok. He comes
That's
on here, and
pretty
he got
good.
80. He has more followers than WWE wrestlers. He actually, when he comes on here, he actually like, talks about. He has 129,000 followers.
Okay.
He has 41 on YouTube, 1,000 on Instagram,
That's
87
pretty
on
good.
TikTok. Yeah, he's well. Maybe you should get him into Total Epic. If he's not your type, he's trying to recreate 1998 Stone Cold Steve Austin emojis.
Okay.
It works. That's how he's gotten 87,000 followers. He's basically showing videos of like Stone Cold Steve Austin's cat Poncho. But
Okay. No, hear me out. This is what I want Phil Brooks to know.
okay.
CM Punk versus Chuck Stein death match. If Chuck loses, he'll shave off his mohawk.
Wow. Well, that's interesting. But Comatose has he has an interesting response. I want to let Comatose share it. He said first he did come out to Killswitch Engage's Firebirds when he debuted in WWE back in 2006. I want to say that's a pretty Punk song. Secondly, CM Punk is the reason he became a wrestler. So that's his feelings.
I disagree with. I disagree.
CM Punk wasn't the reason you started Total F and Chaos, then, right?
I disagree. So when CM Punk loses, he has to change his name.
What do you
name versus hair match.
What do you think he'll change it to?
I don't care what Spencer's Gifts Punk. CM Spencer's Gifts. I don't the fuck he changed.
Well, he's got a lot of fans out there. I don't know if he's really paying attention to us right now. He's probably.
That's why I need you to get this to him.
I will definitely tag him on Instagram. I don't know.
We gotta know a guy that knows a guy that knows a guy that knows him.
Well, James Taylor might be the one guy because he's got the 87,000 followers on TikTok.
Great.
I'll let him know because he's got 80.
Great.
He actually might have more followers than CM Punk, so I'll let him know that because he'll obviously be able to. He'll create like a Stone Cold Steve Austin video, and that maybe CM Punk watches that because according to
if you can call Stone Cold Steve Austin, he knows.
Well, James Taylor could probably do it because he knows Stone Cold probably. He probably knows.
Okay, there we go.
I'll do that.
He calls Stone Cold, says, "Hey, Steve, what's up, brother? Hey, we got this guy.
I will ask and speaking of people, by the way, that might know Stone Cold Steve Austin, he has 87,000 followers. That is the man because he heard his name, and he obviously. Maybe he could help us because he's obviously very big on TikTok. He's got, like I said, about the amount of followers. So did you want this guy, Mr. Taylor, to see if he could talk with Mr. Punk?
Yes. Tell him what we want. Tell him what we want.
Well, he wants basically, James, what Mr. Will Carroll of Total F and Chaos wants is that CM Punk is going to wrestle a match with Chuck Stein. And when he loses this match, in a death match, and when he loses this match, CM Punk's going to be forced to change his name, and James basically he wants you to tell CM Punk because you have again as many followers as you do. So since you are known and you have more followers than WWE superstars, he believes with your reach that you could actually do that. So and I don't know what James's response will be toward that. I don't know if maybe he'll do it. I don't know. Maybe he'll do it.
If he's cool, he'll do it. If he's cool, he'll do it. If he's as cool as you say he is, he'll do it.
He's a great guy. He's a great guy.
Actually. And he'll do it. He'll do it.
Actually, he was here actually twice in one day yesterday, actually. And he actually wants to say that I'm on it, basically. So he's on it. So good news is that he's on it. So James is on. Yes.
Thank
so
you. We appreciate it.
Yes, we definitely do. And also Comatose wants to say he'll pay a paycheck to see this. You make it happen, I'll be there live.
Okay.
So,
okay.
Well, okay. Well, you got a lot of people interested. And Angie wants to say CM Punk must be stopped.
Yeah, she knows because she's smart. She knows.
Oh, I know she's smart. She's smart because I don't know why. She's smart because she's not she talks to me. That's not the reason why she's smart. She's smart.
Not smart.
That would be the last thing you want to do in the world.
That's not what a smart.
No, that would be just the opposite of that. But because she's obviously friends with you and she's obviously, known you as well as she does, that's why she's smart. Obviously, that's
smart.
Why. Yeah, very genius-like. But I'll come back to that. But okay, fine. But, I guess, so you're not a wrestler, but you go through all these matches. I've seen a lot of all the stuff that hardcore has gone through. And I mean, how have you trained your body to get into some of that stuff? I'm going to put some of the photos up here, and I'd be wondering about that for the audience. How have you gotten yourself to be able to be in that mind to just go out there and take that punishment? I mean,
it's terrible. My goal is to make sure we win. And anything that entails, I will do. It's about winning matches. It's about proving a point. Thank you. There it
Even
is. There, look at
even when
that.
you look
Oh,
like this.
uh,
That wasn't like ketchup. It wasn't like artwork. No.
no. Yeah, no, that's not the goal. I am trying to make sure we win matches. Wrestlers are out of control. Wrestlers are crazy, and you know that.
Oh, I've probably interviewed about 1,000 of them by now at this point.
Yeah.
But 1,000. So, but I like them. They're welcome to my platform. All of them are, but
I like a few of them.
Yeah.
A very few.
Well, you like hardcore, who I've gotten a chance to know, and
I like all my guys. Ox is okay.
Yeah, Ox is definitely okay. He's
Ox
definitely
has never given me any trouble. If he ever gave me trouble, though,
No, Ox would never give you trouble. Ox is he's
okay,
a good man. He's a
okay.
bloody man. He's a bloody man.
As long as Ox doesn't give us any trouble, okay.
Well, that was obviously, here you are again, and
that's the night that was Chicago. That was the night. That's the last time I saw Chuck. I left. I said, go find CM Punk. Moments after this photo was taken, and that was the last time I seen him.
Well, I hope he's doing well. I hope he's alive.
I hope he finds it. I hope he's still looking. Chicago can't be that big of a place. Where is Phil hiding?
Chicago's a pretty big place, actually. It's pretty. It's not New York City, but yeah, I would say it's on par, size-wise, Philadelphia, maybe. In that Philadelphia.
You think Chuck is still there looking for him, or you think he gave up?
Oh, I don't. Well, that's up to. I wouldn't be able to know that question. I mean, my guess is that he's still looking because he doesn't want to disappoint you. He does not want to disappoint.
He's still. I just can't believe it's so hard to find CM Punk.
Well, because there's so many people that look like CM Punk, with a Pepsi tattoo and about 5'10", 5'11", with 20, 30 tattoos, and with a wife like AJ. That's probably why. That's what it is. And
maybe we should get a hold of her.
That would be maybe a lot easier because she's at home most of the time. You could just
What's the one photo that's covered up there?
This one right here?
No, the one that's like, oh, that was not a good moment.
I didn't want to bring that one up, actually.
What's the one that's blocked out? Down.
Oh.
Yeah, what's that? What's it gonna... The fuck? Why do we have to be 18 to see this?
I don't know. It's a good question.
What is the picture?
I don't know. Let's see. There we go.
Oh, that's a meme I made.
No. So what's wrong with this?
What's wrong with that? That's a meme that I made. Why don't they want you to see that?
Well, I don't know. That's up to Instagram. I mean,
yeah, I guess that's up to Instagram.
But there's good old Mr. Hardcore.
Yeah, there's the three of us. That was in POR in Virginia.
Yes, POR. Listen, Tarzan Duran was in your chair 2 weeks ago. You have a Tarzan Duran story or two? He won't know about it. Don't worry.
I'm real impressed with that kid. I'll be honest with you.
Me too.
He's a really, 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 really good wrestler. He
just wrestled Ken Anderson last weekend. He just wrestled Ken Anderson.
That's awesome. I would actually like to see that match if you have it.
I did play the one where he wrestled Jacob Fatu last year in California, which was a pretty big deal.
No, I'm a real big fan of Tarzan. He's great. He's really good.
He literally is like one of the guys that I would call is like the definition of a professional wrestler, meaning that he goes out there and that he's a pro. Like he's just everything about him, the way he wrestles, his versatility in the ring, his teaching. He's definitely that. And
but he better not fuck with total fucking chaos. Then no more. I'll take back every nice thing I said.
Well, we'll probably run into him in POR. He's there all the time. I mean, I'm sure you'll run into him.
I know. Oh, you know what? You know what? Actually, I take that back. We got a win over him. Hardcore beat him.
Yes, I was actually going to get to that for you.
Hardcore's beat him before, so you know what? Once we've beat you, you're not on our radar anymore. You're checked off the list.
Well, that's why he's trying to figure out whether he should be wrestling with a skirt or not these days. I'm sure you've seen that out there. But
yeah. He looks good.
He's doing the Perry Saturn 2001 thing, But
that works. That's good.
That was a good one. See, I'm trying to work on my game, and there you are in that moment. Just
that's a candid photo. I didn't know that.
That's probably one of your best photos, by the way. I don't know.
A completely candid photo.
It's a good photo, and Hardcore is in rare. rare
Yeah.
non-cut, rare non-blood, rare just non-everything. He's just
That was the beginning of the day. That was beginning of the day.
oh, that's why, because Mr. Hardcore, and that's good old Mr. Hardcore. What a nice man. I'd say, if you don't mind me saying this, he is
Mhm.
one of the nicest people that has ever come on this platform. Just such a nice dude. I mean, he's
See,
just
I'm working on that. I don't want him being so nice.
well, everybody loves him. He comes on just like you would know that this guy's had a syringe needle put through him by Jimmy Controversies, went through glass, he's went through what Madman Pondo put him through. I mean, you wouldn't know all the things he's put his body through, but yet he's so nice here on Sportswire.
I'm working on that because
you have to work a lot harder on that because, like I said, every time he comes here, I even have a friend of mine on the other side of the country, Radu Bulat, who's Mr. Vampire, who loves Mr. Hardcore, loves hardcore.
Okay.
Just that. And I got more comments. Let me say to more people here. Also here, let me come back to this one here.
Yeah.
Also, Robin Cat dropped the ball on you. You were gold on XPW TV.
Thank you. Thank you.
I agree with that.
I really like your profile picture. Is that the Gremlins? That's a Gremlins mask from a back of a comic book, I think. I think that's what that is. I recognize that.
They haven't made like a Gremlins like prequel at this point. I'm surprised they haven't done that. But how about
I'm kind of surprised too. Yeah.
Is that another one? The White Claw. See, Angie knew you better than anybody. That's the White Claw.
Yeah, she knows. Yeah, she knows.
Angie, good old Angie. Yes.
Yeah,
but, I realize I've got some time with you still, but I want to take this off the screen because I promised you. I actually wanted to give you something. I don't know how you take it, but I did make something for you. I gave you a proclamation. I signed it because I do this for most of my guests that come on to Sportswire Radio. I know you don't like when people give you things. You just want to beat people up. You're focused on total effing chaos is winning and, getting them more wins and more championships. But I do have to present this to you. I mean, I could maybe not give it to you, but, I just would like to give it to you, but if it's only, if I could put it up on my screen, I would like to, I'm sure.
Okay.
Well, I consider you here the outsider of wrestling. I wanted to give you an actual certificate. I put my John Hancock, I put my logo on there, and
thank
I
you.
just wanted you to have it because
thank you.
I like to give my guests something that come on here.
That's very nice. Certificate of appreciation.
Yes, we
do. I'm gonna take a picture of that on my phone.
And I'll give it to you when we're off the. I'll email it to you, and you can have the actual copy.
You, buddy. So. All right. What? All right. Let me ask you this: what do you appreciate? Why did I get this? What did I do to earn this?
What you did to earn this is that, in the words of one of my guests who's in my Hall of Fame, you figuratively and literally each and every time you go out there, do it for the true love of this sport of wrestling, and you figuratively and literally put your blood, sweat, and tears out there. You go to places that many people would never even in a million years want to go to. You go out there not because of the pay, not because of the win, not because of the championship, but you go there because you truly love this sport. You represent this sport, and you represent a scene to me in hardcore deathmatch underground wrestling, to me, that I appreciate immensely. And I think in many ways it is kind of a scene that I don't think people respect enough and understand. And that's why you are similar to many of the guys that have come on this platform in the past, like Tarzan, like Obey, like Mikey Anarchy, like obviously Hardcore in your group, even Jimmy Controversy, if I could break the fourth wall for a second, Brian White, Kato, Mac 10, a lot of the guys in the circuit, to me, that come on here, I think you all in many ways represent that. And that's why I wanted to give you something that in many ways would signify that. So I think that's why it's important. I try to recognize that. And that's why when I give something, it holds value, not just to you, but to go back and answer your question. To me, it had value as to why I wanted to make the certificate up and give it to you. So
thank you so much. That's very sweet.
I know you do these. I know there's other guys out there, but I really feel like this is a different one. And I try to do it in a way that's different because I know you get asked the same questions, you get the same stuff. And, I think that's why I wanted to give that to you. But I did want to ask you in a fun way. So what's it like doing stand-up comedy? What is that like in that world? What is that? How does it help you with wrestling? What is that, doing such?
All right. So it's kind of terrible because like in wrestling, you can make them hate you. But if they hate you when you're a stand-up comedian, that's not good.
I know that I told the story. Two of my friends were, I wouldn't want to embarrass them, but they tried and they were telling me jokes. I never forget in my backyard. my one friend was telling me 15 minutes worth of jokes and he wasn't funny. And it was like,
So this particular clip, um, I am gonna break the fourth wall for a second. Also, Dirty Ron does comedy as well.
of course, yes.
So him and I have been fighting for about 4 years, but obviously, when he comes to town, he stays at my house. We're buddies. You know what I mean?
Yes, because I know he's back in Pro Wrestling Venom and he's done the GTS thing. Yes, I
Right,
see.
right. So I mean, I hate to tell anybody this, but we are actually friends in real life. So when he comes to town, he wants to do all the open mics. I go, yeah, all right, man, we can do all the open mics. I normally don't go down for the open mics, but when he's in town, I do them. I don't want to sit there and watch him do comedy, so I sign up when he does. So we did like 3 when he was here last October. I think we did like 3 or 4 open mics. This is one of them. But he gave me a bunch of mushrooms.
Oh,
Okay. And he gave me a bunch of mushrooms, and I had a drink or 2 maybe, but the mushrooms hit hard like 5 minutes before I went up there.
Okay, that's interesting. I mean, it could have went either 2 ways. I mean, it could have been like a Jimi Hendrix concert back in the Hollywood Bowl where he might have had mushrooms and he played the greatest he ever, or you could have shit the bed pretty much. I don't know what to say.
So I had all my jokes written on a piece of paper. As you can see on the stool, my jokes are written.
Okay.
And I look confident. Like I'm just watching it visually. It looks like I'm telling the jokes. But then they turned my microphone off. Not because my jokes were bad.
Well, that was like a pause. I did notice that when I was listening to one. I listened to a couple of them before we were in the air, and I was like, okay, I have to ask him about this.
Right. So they turned my microphone off. And I got off stage, and a lot of my friends came to see it, and they go, "Who made you do that?" And I go, "Dirty Ron. Dirty Ron gave me the mushrooms and made me do that."
Well, that's a good explanation. Dirty Ron gave it to you. That's
Dirty Ron. And then then the next night, we did an open mic, and nobody fucking laughed because it was like a real stuffy room.
Oh,
I
God.
think the mushroom one I feel like the mushroom one, everybody was fucking laughing.
Well, because maybe they had mushrooms with you. I don't know. It didn't sound like they had mushrooms for dinner, but
Yeah.
Boy, that's got to be an awkward feeling when there's just nobody laughing. I mean, what do you do?
Yeah, I'd rather be on
you
mushrooms.
bleed? You try to bleed on stage? I mean, Mick Foley was doing stand-up comedy and he was talking about some of his stories. Do you maybe try to bleed on stage? Maybe that'll work. I don't know.
I would rather be pulled off the stage on mushrooms than have nobody laugh. That's what I learned.
Well,
honestly, I don't give a fuck. They don't if they don't laugh, they don't laugh.
It's still awkward though. I mean, it's got to be like, in wrestling, it's one thing. Okay, the fans don't react. There's a way to kind of come back from that. But in comic, I said I know, from 2 of my friends, they did stand up comedy, and it was like, dude, it was bad. It was like I was trying to be sympathetic, and I can only imagine what 40, 50 people watching would have felt like with these guys. These guys, you at least had you have some experience being in different things. You could kind of maybe figure a way out or maneuver. These guys were like
dying up there. You die. Oh yeah, you're by yourself. If you're in a wrestling match, you can fuck with the fans, you can fuck with the referee.
Yeah, you come out and do something. There's maybe a maneuver with an object. Maybe you pick a fight with an official. You do something to try to get the people.
Right. So you see in the video, the sound guy waved the flashlight. That's your cue to get off stage, and I'm still talking. He's like, oh,
you got the 60. Yeah, you get like what 60 seconds, right? Is that what it is? Something like that. I remember.
It's like 5 minutes.
You have 5 minutes, but they tell you like when you hit like 60 seconds, there's like a signal or something.
Yeah, I just saw the signal, and I'm still going. I ignored the signal because I was on mushrooms.
Well, maybe that's why.
I think he's getting up. I see that. I'm watching the sound guy. Did he? I'm like, I got 4 more jokes.
Yeah, I did see it. I did see he mentioned. Well.
I'm a fucking menace. What the fuck is wrong with me?
But does that in a way, like, kind of crazy to say this, but does it help you maybe in terms of just like when you're managing out there to maybe like?
See, he's waving the flashlight again. He gave me that was my second chance to stop.
Well, you kept going, and I'm not going to stop you either. But does that like do you take away anything from this?
Yeah, it's fucking funny.
Obvious, other than being funny. I mean, but anything wrestling
Oh, look,
wise is
look,
a
look, watch
magic.
5, 4, 3, 2,
I
1.
see it.
Microphone off.
I see it. And he waved you off. He waved you off, and
He waved at you there.
well, it's a moment. It's a moment you'll remember.
What a menace.
Well,
I'm out of
you're
control.
total effing chaos. Of course,
Yeah,
that's
man,
what you
this
do.
is total fucking chaos, motherfucker.
You
Do whatever the fuck
and
we
by the way,
want.
if you're on YouTube right now, hit the sub button for him because I actually gave you 3 subs today. I gave you not one because I own 3 YouTube channels. And I made sure to give you 3 subs. We're actually on 3 YouTube channels right now. So I was like, let me
Perfect.
give him 3 more subs. So
Thank you.
that was the
Thank
case. So, you
thank
have that and I guess stand-up comedy is not going to be what you're doing more regularly. It's going to be more wrestling stuff, I would imagine.
you. Yeah. It's just I kinda just do it for fun, to be honest with you.
I did want to show something to the audience that was a little different. There was something else that you're actually been known for because you've been written up actually in your local town in Rochester, New York. And I actually
Yeah.
had that here on the screen and I wanted to play it or show a couple of those things here. And, what's that being like written up about something you created in National Teen Set Outsider? What has that been like? You've been involved in that for a long time in
Yep.
Rochester
Yep.
and just talk about that for the audience. I think that's really
Sure.
fascinating.
I have never played in a band. I've never played an instrument. I've always tried to so I've had to contribute to the punk scene in different ways. The biggest way I've done that is writing a zine that covers just weird things in Rochester, bands and musicians and music, and just something fun for like the punks to be into. Um, so I mean that's been my biggest contribution to like the scene of punk like in my area. Um, and then it got bigger and bigger, and now I just focus on the wrestling now. But it was cool because I mean it gave me a chance to put people in a spotlight that they weren't gonna get, I think, any other way. You know what I mean? And it was very punk oriented. It's not like when you get in like a real, a real publication, they're not gonna ask you like, have you ever seen a ghost? You know what I mean?
No, obviously.
Whereas I could ask questions like that. Have you ever, when was the last time you were in a fist fight? They're not gonna ask you those type of questions, Those are the type of questions I would ask. So it's really just very fun, funny punk zine, and I did that for many, many, many years, and that transitioned to me doing a radio show where I would interview different people every week. So I mean, that was just like because like I said, I've booked shows, but I've never been in a band, so that was always my contribution to the music and the punk scene.
What got you into punk? What was like for you getting into punk? What was that like?
Honestly, it was TV and comedy. Like I said, Andy Kaufman, I mentioned earlier,
Yep.
Kids in the Hall,
Sure.
early Saturday Night Live stuff, just some comedy. Like when I was in school, being like, you know what, I don't like what the other kids like. What do I like? I liked Weird Al and I liked comedy music. I didn't like whatever was popular at the time, and that led to just being a weirdo. I remember seeing,
a lot of great Weird Al songs. White and Nerdy. There was
of course,
obviously
yeah,
Amish Paradise, Amish like a Surgeon.
right, and it's just like this is the mainstream. This is what
Eat
people
It,
like. They like a Virgin by Madonna. Well, motherfucker, here's Like a Surgeon. We're making fun of
Eat
Madonna.
It, and there was
Yeah,
Fat. He did Fat. He did Fat. It was
so it's
Nirvana. He did Teen Spirit. Yep.
right. So it's just the mocking of things and making fun of things and cutting things down of popular things. That's really what got me into punk. Um, Knowing that you didn't have to be normal to be, you could be yourself and be happy and succeed. That
That's a
kind of
great
was what got me into
analogy for
punk.
anybody that's here or just in general. It's a great thing. And I kind of feel like, tell me your thoughts, that there's so much similarities in the wrestling world and the punk world because
Yeah,
especially I feel like in our circuit that we are kind of the outsider. We're not the
absolutely.
mainstream. And I feel that that's what should bond us together. And do you see similarities in that?
100%. And that's why the goal of Total Fucking Chaos was to get wrestling fans into punk and to get punks into wrestling.
Yeah, Hardcore spoke about that when he was here. He had definitely talked
Yeah,
about that when he was here months ago.
and that's my goal. And I'm it's slowly kind of coming together. Every now and then you'll see a little thing, but like I'll be happy when I see someone I don't know at a punk fest with a Total Fun Chaos patch. You know what I mean? That kind of, because there's so many, and there were so many people at these wrestling shows before I started Total Fun Chaos. There'd be people at wrestling shows with studded jackets and patches and pins and shit.
I remember it was like have you had a Rancid patch? It was Ramones.
Sure, but then I go, I don't think this wrestling product is meeting the needs of these people. And that's where I wanted to step in. That's where I wanted to do something different. Because XPW pretty much is like a very Trumpy right-wing wrestling company. But punks were interested in it because Schlack was there and there was blood and guts and like cool guys on the roster. But then they all disappeared because politically they couldn't get behind it. You know what I mean? And that was really frustrating for me to be like, we let people down. I feel like I let people down by being like, hey, during the intermission of XPW shows, I'd play like cool punk music and like I'd always wear cool punk band t-shirts and shit. And I went out of my way to like be like, we need, Schlack, or we need whoever, Rob Shit, bring all these cool punk guys in. And then I kind of feel like I let people down by.
Well, I mean, it wasn't your fault. I mean, they had
No.
they wanted to, it's unfortunate. I mean, I'm always a believer in, I think everybody should have the opportunity to express themselves in whatever form or way.
Of course.
But do you feel like you're doing that now, though, in a way,
Yes.
a much better way, in a positive note?
Yep, I'm 100% doing that now. Like, that was the goal a year ago. A year ago, I made the proclamation that that's what Total Fucking Chaos was. Total Fucking Chaos was going to be the opposite of what XPW does. Total Fucking Chaos was going to be something new to get new fans in, because all these wrestling shows have their fans, and it's hard to get new fans. If anything,
I'm so glad you said that, because we're here with, of course, Mr. Will Carroll. He is the man with Total Effing Chaos. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice figuratively and literally. We're all wrestling matters. It's funny you said that because, like on this platform, one of the things, it's so funny because I agree with you 100%. In a different way, we see kind of things the same, because what I believe that Sportzwire, the reason it's become successful in a lot of ways is that it blends people from a lot of worlds. We have a lot of the hardcore guys, obviously, you see around: Jimmy, Mikey Anarchy, Obey, Gabe Sayers, Eddie Exile, Tarzan, most certainly, other guys, Mac 10, Cato, Brian White, whole list of other people. We have guys that are in the independent circuit. We have guys in the backyard. And I really believe that there should be an outlet for people from, all platforms or all types of wrestling to come together, because I believe sometimes what happens in these different promotions or different scenes or different types of forms of wrestling, people don't want to expand their horizon or want to be open to something that might really be something that they might like and enjoy. I mean, I try to give everybody that opportunity. Sometimes there's going to be people that may not be as good, but that's okay. But at least people are getting that chance. I believe in that. And I think what you're saying is very similar, breaking the fourth wall again, is that what I believe in that philosophy 100%. I just believe that, everybody should go to one place. It's like going to a concert or going to a bill, whether it was like Once Upon a Time, Ozfest, or Lollapalooza, or going to something that you could see people from different bands or different things. And some of them you might like, some of them you might not like, but that's, to me, what we should all be about. That's how I see things.
Yeah. And just furthermore on that, it's like I've unfortunately seen people go to a wrestling show all excited and they go, you know what? That sucked. I'm never going to another fucking wrestling show again. And I've seen that too many fucking times. And so it's like, it's not even that. So I want to make sure that that doesn't happen on my watch as best as I can. Whatever I can do, and whether that includes getting fucking skewers in my fucking head or whatever, I want to put everything I can into the show and make it make sense and have it be fun and easy to follow. And if it's your first fucking wrestling show, you will want to go see another wrestling show. And that's not fucking easy, because I've seen more wrestling fans lost than gained in my time doing this. More
That's
people just like,
unfortunate.
you know what, this isn't for me. I'm not coming back to another show. XPW was like almost selling out shows when we started, and it went down and down and down and down and down.
That's
Why?
why I think Jimmy had a few things to say about XPW, and I don't want to like. There was a couple things that went out there. I kind of don't want to get into it, but it's unfortunate when you hear these things about promotions. But you can only go forward, and we've got some stuff coming up. I mean, let's talk about let's in a positive direction here. Let's talk about some of the stuff. I'm going to put it up on the screen shortly. We have some stuff you're going to be at, and I think people could be excited about, and hopefully want to watch wrestling, and hopefully watch Total Effing Chaos. Let's go into that as I put that up on the screen.
What are you going to put up?
I'm going to put up, New York first. I'm going to go September 21st, Hardcore Hangout, because it's just local.
Okay.
I just two New York guys. Let's go with that first. I mean, obviously, I know we showed the picture earlier, but in terms of just, what can we expect from you guys in being there and just being almost in your neck of the woods, by the way, Rochester, almost.
So this probably, and I've been telling people this, if you want to see a fucked up wrestling show, this is probably going to be the closest one to anywhere we live. This is going to be pretty off the walls. I mean, look at that fucking roster. I mean, everyone on this fucking flyer is good.
For sure. There's people, many of them I've interviewed, and I like. This is also Amsterdam was where WZW was, right? If I'm not mistaken, right? WZW. That's a lot of. I see a lot of WZW guys here on that.
Yep.
That's, and that hits home to hardcore. Obviously, that's a personal one for hardcore.
Yep. And everyone on this poster is more than capable of delivering a fucking memorable fucking match. This is going to be a lot of fun. I highly, highly, highly recommend checking this one out. If you're anywhere in Amsterdam, New York is near Albany.
Yes, we had Rob O'Malley, who's going to be at it, was talking about that. It's like 1 hour from Albany, if I'm not mistaken. He actually lives. He's one of the guys that actually lives there. He lives in Amsterdam.
It's like 30 minutes from Albany. So it's about 2-ish hours from Syracuse. It's about 3-ish, maybe 4 hours from me. Probably 3 hours from Rochester. But a drivable distance. If you want to see something like you've never fucking seen before, this is a good shit.
I have Eddie XL Saturday night, who was here like 3 weeks ago, who's back here again. And I just spoke to Eddie because Eddie actually lives I think he lives just outside of New York City. So I speak to him pretty regularly. And he said he was so excited about this show. He said he's really he really is excited. He was talking about hardcore, talking about you guys off the record, Jeff Nova, Gabe's a part of it. A lot of.
Is Gabe on the poster?
Yes, he is actually right there.
Where?
He see the funk shirt. If you see he's right underneath hardcore. So there's hardcore. And there's Gabe. Yeah. It's an old Gabe photo. Old Gabe photo. Okay.
I didn't recognize him. Yeah, there he is. Okay.
They gave him a little blur, but it's a lot of people that I happen to know. That's why I'm excited about it. It's New York, and let me ask you: is it always exciting when you're at a show? I mean, it's not quite hometown, but it's still in the state. Does that give you guys in the group a lot of motivation? No, does not at all.
Because there's too many laws here. We can't do what we do. We do best here.
Oh, I'm familiar with that. I knew. I mean, New York.
We can't. I mean, this show will be an exception.
Mm-hmm.
But when this weekend, I was on a show. There's no blood. It's family friendly. That's not where we thrive.
Yeah, New York in general is like the British wrestling circuit. The British wrestling circuit in New York, they must have the same commission. It's like literally like the same thing. It's like you can't do anything almost. It's just it's just crazy.
So New York it's almost more of a chore to do a lot of these local shows.
Well, that's why it's funny. I'm in New York City. I interview so many people, and there's never like a show like this or any type of shows I'm interested in where I live, because there's just nothing. Right. And the independent circuit, I'm in Staten Island, and they run the Warriors of Wrestling, and it's like, I don't really want to go watch it with all due respect. It's like the people on the bill. It's like, it's just not my way. A buddy of mine was trained by Amazing Red, and I went to his shows twice, Chris Urban, and it was fun, but it wasn't like, I don't know, it just didn't. It didn't give me that oomph. It wasn't like what I talk about here. But okay, so we'll see that. Then I have a couple of other local events I want to pull up here. So we
Well,
have,
go down to the Skullfest one. Skullfest is
yeah,
next.
I did see
Down, go
that.
down.
Where did I find it?
Go down. Where the fuck is it? That one in the middle there. Yep, that one. That's this weekend.
So what can we expect here coming up? Talk about the Skull Island.
So, Skullfest is a punk fest every year in Pittsburgh. And just last year, I've been to every Skullfest except for last year's. I didn't go last year. And last year was the year they did their first deathmatch match. And they had the guys from West Virginia on it. And they didn't announce it or anything. And I saw it on my Instagram. I was like, holy fuck. They had deathmatch wrestling at the Punk Fest the year I don't fucking go. You know what I mean? And so Chuck got on it. And then I was like, well, I'm definitely not missing that shit. So I'll be there all weekend.
What's it going to be like then doing a show in an environment that hasn't had one of these? That's kind of interesting, right?
It's outdoors.
Well, I would think August, right? It's got to be outdoors, right?
It's outdoors, and it's it's on top of this hill. It's called Polish Hill in Pittsburgh.
Well, for those that don't know, actually, Pittsburgh has a actually large Polish constituency.
Yes.
Believe it or not.
So you have to climb this really steep hill, and then there's an abandoned tennis court, I think it is, and they set up like a little punk rock flea market.
Yeah, this sounds hardcore. This definitely sounds like a hardcore.
Yeah, they set up a little punk rock flea market there it's the Sunday of the fest. So like everyone's kind of hungover and tired at this point. Everyone's like everyone's
Sunday. Yeah, you got a Sunday afternoon, 1 o'clock Sunday. Boy, a 1 o'clock Sunday.
You're dragging yourself there. You're dragging yourself there because normally I would go Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and be dead on Sunday.
It's funny you said that because I'm friends with a lot of British guys who've come on here, and the British guys, they'll run like a show like this. Yeah. They'll run them like the same thing. And I'll ask them, so what's it like being on a Sunday show? They're like, Tom, it's the worst because, Friday, Saturday, it's evening, your body. But then to do one of these like early show, it's like.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I'm getting to Pittsburgh Saturday afternoon. I'm only attending one show. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to get too drunk. I'm going to try not to get too drunk.
Uh-huh.
Then Sunday morning, me and Chuck are going to go do this. Then there's one more show, and I'm going to try not to get too drunk at that. And then, or maybe I'll just be like, fuck it. I'll just stay another night. So that's the plan for this weekend.
Okay, so we'll obviously see. Let me get to a couple of comments here. Angie wanted to go a while ago to Bill Brasky. Bill Brasky with the long.
Bill Brasky.
Zilla loved punk rock music, loved Weird Al. I want to say hello to my buddy Big Tex, who's here 2 weekends from now. He also wants to say, evening, Will. I know hardcore, so following TFC is mandatory. In fact, Big Tex, I think, he lives not too far from this venue, so it would make sense that he may have crossed paths or knows hardcore at least because he's in he wrestles for a company called DBW. He's friends with a couple of guys, Kid Mike, Van Hansen. Don't know if you guys have been on bills with them.
Where does he live?
He's in Pennsylvania. He might actually be not too far from Pittsburgh because he's further up. I'm sure Tex will tell me in the chat. He's coming here, not this weekend, but the following weekend. But he's, he probably has run into you guys, or at least run into hardcore at least. And he's done some stuff upstate, if I'm not mistaken. He can correct me on that. Okay, so we'll see you there. I know we got some other stuff. Oh, he's wrestled in New York. He's wrestled upstate New York. I think he might have wrestled. Did you wrestle in Newburgh, if I'm not mistaken? I know you're in Rochester, but that's where he might have wrestled, and he'll tell me that. I know we've got some other stuff ahead. We got September 10th also upcoming.
That's in West Virginia. It's a weird day of the week. It's like a Monday or a Tuesday or something, isn't it?
I believe it's a Tuesday.
That's Brandon St. James. I'm going down to manage him. It's just one match and like 3 bands, I think.
On a Tuesday, boy.
Yeah, on a Tuesday. But the band is the draw. The wrestling's just there.
But that's kind of, what's that like doing a midweek show? Wrestling is usually Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
West Virginia is kind of special because I think they only have one cool place to go, and it's this place. So I think people will turn. I think there'll be a good crowd to see the bands. Then they have to watch the wrestling.
Well, Tex might have wrestled in West Virginia. He also wanted to say he did wrestle. When did you wrestle in WZW? Before they closed. I did not know that Tex wrestled in WZW. So maybe you guys have crossed paths. Maybe he and Hardcore have crossed paths. That wouldn't be surprise me.
You probably know. He probably definitely knows hardcore. Then yeah.
Oh, a lot of people know Hardcore. Okay,
Yeah,
so I guess we'll see. That's kind of still interesting on the 10th. You're on a Tuesday, nevertheless. But also, how about this year coming up? Friday the 13th. That's an interesting one. Friday the 13th.
That's a good one. That's right before he goes to Japan. He's going to Japan.
What's that going to be like? Him
for Chuck?
Yeah, for that. What do you think that's going to be?
Do you want me to? Should I say something embarrassing, or should I be just?
No, Japan's a big. It's a big deal on the platform.
He's
guys have said how much they want to go on.
He doesn't like riding in the backseat of a car, and they put him in this. They put you in this really small bus in Japan, and he's feeling nervous. He's like, I'm gonna feel really claustrophobic in Japan. And I go, yeah, probably. Everything's small there. He doesn't like that.
But it's a big deal because, I mean, we think about Japan, right? Necro Butcher, Madman Pondo, they've gone up there. So the fact that he's gone there.
No, it's a very big deal. But he's a little nervous, yeah. But
nervous because of the experience, or nervous because of going to Japan, the history?
Because of the experience.
And why aren't you going with him?
I would love to go. You have to get invited to go to Japan. It's strict, but that's why you have to get an invitation. You don't just show up in Japan.
How big is that for the group, though, that he's going to Japan?
That's very, 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 very big and cool. Very big and cool. I'm very.
I know I asked Hardcore about this question, and to be honest, it wasn't my favorite Hardcore match, but he still wrestled Madman Pondo. Yeah. It wasn't I'll be honest, it wasn't my favorite Hardcore match, but he still wrestled him.
Yes.
How big was that?
It was very big. It was a very big match. Trying to think if we've had a bigger match. I don't know if I can think of a bigger match that.
Well, he's Pondo. I mean,
I'm trying to think if he and I have been in a bigger match. I don't think I can top that match. So yeah, that was a very big deal. And the clip of him with the knife in his face got like. Yep. 1 million fucking views on Instagram. So, I mean, that's the success story we're looking for in this day and age. If you put up a clip that gets 1 million views.
That's like the when I had Tarzan here and I couldn't show the footage because of YouTube, the Tarzan JJ Escobar thing. That's kind of like that's on that level, but bigger because it's Pondo. It's just, to be there. Did you guys get a chance to talk with him at all or anything like that? Was there anything? Yeah.
Yeah, we hung out with Pondo, and I've been on other shows with him before. He was on the deathmatch tournament that Kyle won last year.
Yes.
He was on that too.
Spoke about that at a prior show. I don't remember who.
Oh yeah, I've met him. I've met him before. I've been on shows with him before. He's really one of those. Or no, I'm thinking of Neil Diamond Cutter. I'm sorry. That was Neil Diamond Cutter. But I've been on another show with Pondo somewhere. Where?
Yeah, I feel like Hardcore mentioned it before because I asked him that question. I was just curious, it wasn't Pondo from years ago, but it's Madman Pondo. I mean,
yeah. I've been on 2 shows with him. I can't remember what the other one was, but he and also Neil Diamond Cutter. This is why I got confused. He the guys like that are very just. Like when we were on that show, someone was like brought in a pencil board, and Pondo's like, gotta throw that shit away, man. Like when I hit that pencil board, I was in the hospital for 3 weeks. I don't let nobody use no pencil board when I'm in the building, and stuff like that, So stuff like that is just like, it takes kind of an older voice to be like, because everybody wants to do something fucking crazy. Everybody wants to top somebody else, you know what I mean? And it takes a voice of reason, like a Madman Pondo, or someone with some a fatherly, stern voice to say, hey, that's fucking stupid. Don't fucking do that. You'll get hurt for real. You can do this without permanently hurting yourself,
I wanted to ask you, I know there's a few comments, I'll get to them. I wanted to ask you though, because Hardcore is so interesting to me because I know he's known years ago in early formations in the backyard of WZW in the scene, but these last like few years he's been like reinvented and he's had like so much success, and
Mhm,
I
mhm.
find that so fascinating. And
Yeah.
just from your vantage point, what is that like? Because he's a guy that's had this second kind of coming of his career, and most guys don't get that. What's that been like for you to see that from that
So,
perspective?
and I'll tell you the story of how we met and how we got to where we are right now.
Sure.
Um, I was running the XPW Theater Brutality, and I'd seen clips of him on Instagram. I'd never met him before, of him just like doing crazy deathmatch shit. And I think we talked and we became friends on the internet. And I said, don't miss this XPW Theater Brutality in Rochester. I'll introduce you to Rob Black. I will vouch for you to maybe work in XPW. So he shows up, and without asking, without anything, he's cleaning up the building. He's sweeping up blood. He's real humble and polite. I go, you know what? I like this kid. So then I did the Punk's Picnic match, and that was Green Phantom versus Hardbody. And we did a little spot where Hardcore accidentally gets hit with something. Then at the end of the match, I go, is this kid ready for XPW? And I hand him an XPW shirt. And, Rob Black is there. Everybody's there. So then we did the first New Jersey XPW show, and I got him and Chris Worthless, my buddy, a match.
Yeah.
And the match was for an XPW contract, which obviously none of that ever went anywhere, because that was the night that I got fired, actually.
Oh,
And,
well, I'm not going to go there.
but anyways, so I just always had kind of Hardcore in my back pocket, as this guy has his heart in the right place. This guy has his head in the right place. He genuinely believes in wrestling and wants to make this happen. And when I got fired, a couple people messaged me and said, hey, come do this, come do that. Because Rob Black was straight up just like, you're done with wrestling. And I went, oh, okay. Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, sure. And then Chad out of Death Proof in Ontario messaged me. The local guy, Davey from EWF, messaged me, and Hardcore messaged me. And each one of them said, we want you to work with us. And I wasn't going to reach out to anybody. I was just like, okay, back to DJing and stand-up comedy. Cool, whatever. That's fine. But I was, but all those three people are the people that got me back into doing shit. Then I always wanted to start a punk group of wrestlers in XPW. I never got anywhere near that. But then I was like, you know what? Now I can fucking do that. And I don't even have to. I had members in Texas. I was like, maybe I'll never go to Texas.
Yeah, I was talking with Hardcore when he was here in December about like, you guys are just like, there's chapters of you guys. You talked about Ontario, we talked about the mid Chicago came up when he was here. You have like, so in a way, I know it's going to sound weird because XPW, the history of it, the thing, but in a way, your importance maybe is bigger in a sense because of different places. If you would have just stayed in that one place,
I think so.
It wouldn't have been as momentous,
Yeah, I think so. And just like I said, like the way Dan Housen inspired me by just being a force on the internet. And you control that. You control that.
Hey, I mentioned James Taylor. The guy has 87,000 followers on TikTok. Some people here, they love him. Some people don't. But he's got 87,000 followers. How could you not respect a guy like that? And it's the same, with Dan Housen and, seeing Hardcore. I just, there's guys I root for to break the fourth wall. There's guys I root for and guys that come on here and, I'm all wrestling matters. But Hardcore is a guy that I genuinely like. I just want to see him do it because I know you're going to get mad when I say this in character, but like, he's just such a nice man. Like literally, like, I know he's hardcore. I know you're total effing chaos, but like,
yeah, absolutely. 100%.
He's just like, I gotta be honest. Like, I just want to see him, do as well as any, because he's been so nice to this platform. I can't tell you, he talks to me off the air. He likes all the posts. He's always here. Those are people like, I just want to see them live out all their dreams and do so well,
100%. And he's been there for me. just as much as I've been there for him. I would hope that he would say the same, and he means a lot to me. I'm very lucky to have him part of what I'm doing. Very fortunate. Wouldn't change a fucking thing about that.
And we're lucky to have you guys here on this platform, and we're very lucky to have some more comments. Angie wants to say that was the last one when Pondo slapped you with the stop sign.
That happened, yes.
Yes,
That did happen.
I do recall that. Yes, Zilla says hi.
That did.
Ben Salem
You
champion.
skipped. I'm on. I see the comments now. You skipped
Oh,
the
you do?
booger comment.
I was gonna say avoid that. I was gonna say, but I don't
No,
remember
you don't avoid that. I did do that.
I didn't want to. I actually didn't want to put because I wanted to make sure that we moved along and we wanted to treat you with the respect you deserve. But
I
we
did
do
do that.
appreciate that.
You think I don't know what I'm? You don't think I know what I'm doing?
Actually, it's funny. I didn't. Some people don't know the comments are on the screen. Other people do know. It's funny that you were like, "Oh, I know where the comments are." Some people are like, "Can you read them off?" I don't know. It's just, but we do get a lot of comments. I want to say hello to Ben Salem Championship Wrestling. How you doing? Big fans of the show.
Who's Ben? Is that Ben Salem, Massachusetts?
I actually don't know that, to be honest, because I haven't. This is the first time I've seen Ben Salem here on Sportswire. So
I think that's, or is that New Hampshire? Maybe.
Could be. I honestly I haven't seen a Ben Salem.
Or no, that's Connecticut.
Could be.
I just said 3 random states and just hope one of them was right.
Salem, Massachusetts, right? Salem, Massachusetts. I mean,
that's Ben Salem. It's a different place.
Well, maybe Ben Salem Championship Wrestling will be very generous to tell us where they're from and say hello to us again. I want to say hello to my guest coming up here in 2 weeks, Nolan Money McDermott. He is the small town backyard wrestling world heavyweight champion. He's from Illinois. Illinois. He's from a little small town in Illinois. It's if you look at where they wrestle, it's like they're probably wrestling in the whole neighborhood. It's like that's how big their property is. Maybe you guys could live there in their company. I don't know.
I'm interested. Everything you said was intriguing.
It was actually where they wrestle. It's like a really it's like almost like a movie. It's like one of those like old John Hughes movies that like he directed back in the 80s. You're a movie guy. You'd appreciate that. It reminded me of like that's where like these guys wrestle and very nice guys. And they wanted to say hello, and I'll come back to them.
Hello.
Let me ask you. I always ask wrestlers and managers this question in terms of the final minutes of the show. But what are your goals for the rest of the year? Like, what are your goals individually and for Total Effing Chaos for the rest of the year?
I do make a pretty. I make a list of goals at the beginning of the year, and my one goal was to get to Texas this year. I did that. Texas was a goal. And putting out more merch is a goal. I want there to be a table of merch, and I want to do a thing where you can get a free Total Fun Cast patch if you just go on Instagram and like do this, the little thing, so that everyone could, because it has to be punk. It can't be like capitalistic, you know what I mean? I have to be like giving away shit pretty much, but that's what I want, So I want to get some patches made, shirts made. Shirts will be cheaper than everybody else's shirts at the show.
Shirts are expensive. I buy a lot of wrestling shirts to support the wrestlers on the platform. Radu Bulat's in the UK. I spent like $40, but Comatose was so kind. He spent $50 to send me a shirt. What an awesome dude.
That's a lot.
I owe him. I was like, can I buy it for you? Can I buy you too? He's like, no. You've been so good to support to the community. I was like, okay, I appreciate you.
That's very nice. But very nice, I want to just keep. I don't like to set strict goals because I don't like to be disappointed, and it also kind of seems like Texas was the big goal for the year, and I did that in March. You know what I mean? So just putting out more keeping the train moving on the videos, keeping the train going on promoting everybody on the Instagram, keeping the train going on staying busy is important. Anything else, and I think people see other people working hard. I think because there's so many, just like, okay, this guy is really fucking good. He's doing something cool, but then how do you keep it going? You know what I mean?
There's always the pressure to top what you did before. I completely agree with you on that.
Yeah, so I'm really trying to keep a steady level of, they put out promos that are good. They put out cool merch that is good. It seems like they're wrestling all over. It seems like they're busy, and that's what I want. That's the goal.
That's a good goal because there is always those pressures. And if you want to get in touch with Will, that's his YouTube channel. Go hit the sub button for him. I'm also
Yeah,
going to
sure.
ask you to hit some buttons here on Instagram. Check him out on Instagram.
Yep.
Please support the group. Trust me, support them. You won't regret it.
Thank
We're
thank
very honored to have him here tonight. And my name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice, figuratively and literally, where all wrestling matters. Okay, so let me ask you.
you.
I
Yeah.
always ask this question. I think I asked this to Hardcore, so I'll be curious what your answer is.
Okay.
If there were one or two moments in your career so far in this sport of wrestling, what would they be that stood out most?
Being in the ring with Sabu, being in the ring with the Sandman. Um, the night that Total fucking Chaos started. The first time I took a gusset plate.
Wow. You got some, you know what? Some guys come on here and they're like, I don't know, but you gave me like some really good ones. I gotta go start and actually follow up. So Sabu and the Sandman, I mean, what was that like? I mean, you want to talk about OGs? I mean, those are like right up there, you know?
Sabu was on my birthday in California in XPW,
Okay.
and he I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if you know the guy, but he's really doesn't talk a lot.
I don't know him
He
personally, but I followed his career, obviously, being in New York.
sure
I
he does.
watched
He
ECW.
doesn't talk much.
No.
He's a little hard to communicate with. So the story was we were honoring him because he doesn't work matches anymore. We were giving him an XPW Lifetime Achievement plaque, and during this plaque giving, is that the right word? Plaque giving? That's not the right word.
I
It's
guess
not.
award. He's an award recipient. How about that?
Okay, during the award reciprocation,
That was a good
during
one.
that moment, Dirty Ron, who was banned from the building, was going to come out through the crowd and beat us up. So that went well, and that's how that went. So Sabu and I didn't really talk much, but I took him out to dinner. He didn't speak much. Quiet. He was quiet. I picked him up from the airport. No, I didn't pick him up from the airport, but I got to spend some time with him. But wasn't like he didn't have much.
That's a
The guy
story in
didn't really have much
itself.
to
That's a
say.
story in itself.
Yeah, Sandman. That was in Rochester, and it was me, Kyle, and one of the other members, Cody. And basically, I cut a promo saying ECW was really not that extreme. Those guys are old. I don't know why these guys are getting booked still, talking shit, you know. And then we go to the ring, talk shit. Sandman comes out, and we talked to him before. It's three of us and him. And I go, hey, Sandman, nice to meet you. We're the guys you're beating up. He's like, oh, there's three of you? I go, yeah, yeah. He's like, all right. I need all of you to line up and just come at me with an axe handle one at a time. I'll hit you in the stomach, bend over. I'll hit you in the back. Get out of the ring. I go, okay, I can do that. So I do that. Kyle does it. He goes to Cody. He goes, all right. You see what happened to your buddies. You know better, and you get out of the ring because you're smart. And Cody's like, okay, okay. So he does the autograph signing, gets in the ring, beats us up, leaves the ring, goes to his merch table, grabs his bag, and gets into his fucking car.
Oh wow! Okay.
He did not want to hang out at all. He got the fuck out of there pretty quick.
Well, that kind of matches what I just saw on the Vice documentary. There was a Vice documentary. I think it might have been on ECW.
It was a
And I
Dark Side of the Ring episode, and that was a really
Yeah.
fucking good
I
episode.
watched it like at 3:00 in the morning, like 2
Yeah.
months ago, and I think that kind of matches my impressions of the Sandman. It was
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I heard Eric Bischoff talk about him on his podcast a couple of months ago, and it was, yeah, he was one of those guys, unfortunately, that probably was his own enemy. Sabu's case was different, but I mean, Sandman
Yeah.
was definitely a guy that his,
Oh, yeah. He was
unfortunately,
great.
that kind of matches what I had figured about him as to why he was basically kind of, what he
Yep.
was. Still, it's
Oh,
a great moment to be with the Sandman. Still, it's
Okay,
a
I'll tell.
moment.
All right, so the gusset plate story.
Yes,
No, this was actually not my first gusset plate that I'm going to tell you about first. So
Okay.
it was in West Virginia, that place that this show's at, and I got there, and this kid Chris does such a good job because it's like punk bands, burlesque, and no ring deathmatch,
Wow.
and it just had a really good vibe. It felt more like a punk show than a wrestling show. Like, this is what I'm looking for.
Sounds like it. Yeah, sounds like it.
Like, it's exactly what I'm looking for. So I had a couple too many drinks. And I was in like a bad mood anyways. So I think I was prepared to make a bad decision. You know what I mean?
Like when you heard my intro, you're in that kind of a mood, right?
No. I was not in a bad mood. I was in a chaotic mode.
Ah, I see.
Like, I was ready to do something crazy.
Okay.
Nothing was going to stop me from doing something crazy. So we're wrestling these guys, and they really had never, I don't think they've ever used a gusset plate in a match.
Oh my God.
So I go, just kind of get me down, put me in a camel clutch, and just put it in my head and bop it. You know, I'd done it before.
Mm-hmm.
So they go, guy goes, all right. And they're Southern. They go, all right, man, I got you. And I had been drinking more than I should have been.
Oh,
because
boy.
we got free drink tickets. So he gets me in the camel clutch, and you're kind of supposed to put it here-ish.
I wouldn't know, so you'd have to
when you
tell
see a
us.
guy with a gusset plate, it's usually here-ish.
I see.
To avoid scarring, and so you can go to work on Monday, you know.
Okay, makes sense.
But they put it like right in the middle of my fucking face.
Oh boy.
And
Oh,
like
God.
pounded it the fuck into my head like really fucking hard.
Oof.
And I was just like, uh-oh. And I could just feel so much fucking blood coming down. And then I was lying on the ground, profusely bleeding, but I'm okay still. And there's a stage, and they stood up on the stage and whipped a metal chair down, and it just clocked me in the fucking head. Like,
those
really.
are those sounds like unsafe wrestlers.
We were all caught up in the moment.
Fair point.
We were all caught up in the moment. So they bring me upstairs, and there's a shower upstairs, and I'm kind of just standing in the shower, like bleeding. I went in. I was in the shower with my shoes on and shit. And I was like, oh, that was terrible. Oh my God, what the fuck? And the guy comes in. He goes, sorry, man, I hit you kind of hard. And I'm like hugging him, like, it's okay. It's okay. Yeah, you did hit me really hard, dude.
Well, you had some well, you know what? I mean, there was some interesting moments there you've had. I mean, I tell you what, I usually ask people, like I said, 1 or 2 moments that stand out most, and they're like, they had to think about it. But those are like 3, like, really,
I did get to be in the ring at the ECW arena too. That was special.
That's a moment, especially being here in this area, being from New York. That's like,
that was special, yeah.
So what was the ECW arena like? I got to ask you that before move on.
It's real gentrified. It didn't seem like they
back in the day.
It up. Yeah, it seemed like they cleaned it up.
Well, that's sad. Makes me sad because when I hear a place like the Elks Lodge is no more and the ECW arena is no more, and that was like wrestling history. That was our moment. Or like CBGB's here in New York City is no more.
Right.
And
I barely recognize the ECW arena from videos and clips. It looks totally different.
Oh, so it's
I
know MLW runs their shows there still, and they make a big deal about it, but it's not.
Yeah,
saying it's not.
I mean, you still say it's the ECW fucking arena. It's
not what it was like in the heyday when it was like, oh my God, the ECW arena, and you got like. I just remember, like as a kid, the Elks, from New York City, was Elks Lodge and the ECW. That was like when ECW came to those 2 places. It was like okay, but you're saying it's not what it is.
I wouldn't have recognized it if you didn't tell me. If I didn't know, I was like, oh, it's just another big, ugly. It's painted different color and shit. You wouldn't recognize it.
You were still there, but you still had a moment in the arena.
Yeah, no, that was cool. Yeah.
Don't they have the banner? Isn't the banner hung up for ECW up there and stuff like? There's a banner, I believe, for the history of ECW.
There's a big wall in the bathroom that everyone signs.
Oh, okay, that's pretty.
But now anyone just signs it. I didn't sign it because I have respect, But
I would have thought you would have signed. You're total effing chaos. I
was never in fucking ECW. What the fuck?
But you've had moments with Madman Kondo. I mean, I would have thought
he was never in ECW. He wasn't in ECW. What the fuck?
No, but he was in Japan. He was, a man that I would say the next.
It says ECW.
I understand.
Stevie Richards is supposed to sign it, not Will Carroll.
He's busy podcasting now, so he's not going to sign it. He's now become a podcaster.
During COVID, I would heckle him on Instagram Live all the time, and he would ignore it. He'd be Stevie Richards. Would be on Instagram Live during COVID working out and talking about working out. And I'd be commenting things like, what's your favorite flavor cheesecake, man?
And he
And I
probably
see him look at the
yeah, he
comments.
was definitely that was like me with the booger comment. I didn't want to give you the booger comment. I was like, because one of my
No.
friends who was watching on Instagram who didn't wanted to rename anonymous was like, "Hey, you're gonna read off the booger comment?" I'm like, "No, I'm not really."
No, we were reading the fucking. I picked my. I.
I didn't want to do that because I had a lot of respect for you. I was
You
like,
think I would eat a booger on accident?
I was gonna just not even talk about it because I was
I
like
did it
so
3
happy.
times, hoping
I
someone would say
wasn't
something.
gonna talk about it because you're Will. Now, if you were like some Joe Schmo in like the backyard, I would have probably read it off and grilled you. But
We'd have been
you're
like, "You
Will.
fucking booger eating fucking loser." Yeah.
I
All right.
wouldn't say the curse words because I do have like family watching the show,
Oh,
but I would
I'm
say,
so sorry.
no, don't worry about it. Keep
Well, your
continuing.
mom's watching, right?
Well, not now, but at like 3 o'clock in the morning, she will probably. But
Sorry,
that's
Mrs. Bryce.
okay. That's okay. But that's okay. I'm sure she'll certainly make an exception for you. Okay, so obviously, I've gotten most out of what I wanted to say from you, but what else would you like to say to the audience? Anything else, current events, or anything else you'd like to discuss before we move on to final thoughts, sir?
I would like to make another threat to Ruthless Pro Wrestling for not putting us on your tournament. And you know what? I don't know what I'm going to do about it, but I'm going to do something about it.
Wow.
And I have people all over the country that feel the same way. So just keep an eye on that one.
Well, I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, I think we here on Sportswire would feel the same way. And I'd like to see Ruthless Pro Wrestling book the guys here in Total Effing Chaos. Why not? And I'll even go further. And it's not just stateside. We know you have supporters in Canada on the other side of the border. And I think there's a lot of people watching here on YouTube that on X and Instagram, other places that I'm sure would probably say the same thing. And you need to find out in Ruthless Pro Wrestling, make the right move. And we hope to see that. And I have no doubt we'll see that. Plus, we're going to see the guys coming up here in a couple of different places. We're going to see him this Sunday. We're going to see him a bunch of times coming up in September, the 21st, the Hardcore Hangout. We're going to see him in the 10th in West Virginia, the 13th. We're going to see him. I mean, there's a lot of dates, and the way you can keep in touch and get those dates, first of all, Will's Instagram page. That's how you can get in touch with him, find out more of all the things related to him. Also, if you want to see Total Effing Chaos, the group itself, you can see all of that. Obviously, Hardcore is a part of that. Our friend Hardcore, you can see some of the stuff there. Also,
there's the clip of Dirty Ron fighting Sabu. Go down one, right there in the middle. Yeah, that's the clip. Look at that. There's Sabu. Dirty Ron ruined everything. Look at that. Look at that guy. Look at that.
I heard a lot about it in the controversy.
Why would he do that?
He's Dirty Ron. That's why. He's Dirty Ron McDonald. I just saw him wrestle Gabe Sayers in Pro Wrestling Venom like a month ago. So, you know, I'm not surprised one bit.
He's one of my biggest enemies in professional wrestling.
Well, that means you and Jimmy Controversy actually have something in common because he is controlling Pro Wrestling Venom.
You're making me feel very
That's why I was like, are you sure about that? Because if you and Jimmy Controversy have something in common, I don't think that's a goal of yours.
No, this is that's why New Jersey's so fucked up. Sorry, Mom. Sorry, Mrs. Bryce.
Well, that's okay. I'm from New York, so I'm not from New Jersey.
I'm not talking to you. I was apologizing for the swearing.
Oh, well, Mrs. Bryce isn't from New Jersey. You're from New York. So.
I'm apologizing for saying the F word.
Oh, well, that's a different conversation. You can certainly, but we'll give you a pass. You're from Total Effing Chaos. We'll give you a pass.
I see the comments. Thank you, Angie, for tuning in.
Yes, we love and thank you, Angie, for giving us a big opportunity here to speak to this man who we've known, but also some other places. Again, the 13th Murder City Deathmatch Cup 3. Very excited about that. Yep, going to see that there coming up. Also, we have on the 10th, I had the poster pulled up right there. We have this the 18th. This is the 18th.
Sunday, yep.
Check that out. Also, the 10th here. Check that out. Also, looking forward to that right here. Well, that's No Ring Exhibition Bar and stuff. We got some other stuff here. Check it out on the Total.
I think we might show up at King of the Kill.
Really? So after
August 24th, I think we're just gonna come.
You think so?
Fuck it. I might just show up.
Next Saturday, just show up. Just have a good time.
Nobody's having a good time when we show up. No.
But you wouldn't. Would you just want to show up and watch the show and just have a nice time? No, not just.
Nope.
No.
Nope.
Okay.
I promise that's not going to happen.
So you just want to but you're going to show up and do something, but we'll have to find out. Obviously, we don't want because we had a wrestler come to make you laugh. We had a wrestler come on here 2 weeks ago and told everyone he was winning something like 3 days before it happened. So I think you're very smart and wise to tell us that. Just stay tuned to the event. It'll be coming up next Saturday, and just who knows, but you'll show up potentially, and we'll potentially have to find out. That's all.
I think I'm going to show up.
Show up.
I think I'm coming.
But you're not going to have a good time, but it'll be more like a total effing chaos like time, correct?
Nobody's going to have a good time. Now I'm having a good time again. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I wanted to put this up for the closing thoughts and such. I think that's what we're going to do. So obviously, look, I'm going to give you the floor. I think we've basically talked enough, and I think it's time to let you go and decide what you want to do to get back on top, get more winning, create more chaos, and maybe we can bring you back onto Sportswire. Maybe you'd like to. I don't know if it's up to you if you'd like to come back next time and maybe go into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame and become a Hall of Famer. Only if you'd insist. I mean,
it's about time. It's about fucking time.
Maybe we can bring you back next month sometime. You like to come back and
Can I bring Kyle? Can I bring Kyle with me?
You can bring anybody you like onto this platform.
I might bring Kyle with me.
You should do that. You should do that next month.
I think you need to talk to Kyle.
Because if Rad Dad's coming back, you have to come back. Because Rad Dad's here next month, so you have to come back here then. Because if Rad Dad's here next month, you have to come here next month. Okay. And Jimmy Controversy's been here like 5 times already, so you have to catch up to that. You don't want, and Jimmy feels like he basically can come on here anytime and any will. So you have to make sure now that you come on here more often. So Jimmy can go on other podcasts.
He can go on some other podcasts.
They don't seem to book him much, though. He seems to be booked more here lately.
I wonder why.
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. Maybe I should ask him that. I don't know how he'd take that. But he hasn't been on many podcasts recently. But Dan wanted to say hi to you. Hi, Dan.
Hi, Dan.
Hey, Dan. Dan, you actually tuned in at the wrong time. We're at the end of the show.
The end of the show. Well, hello.
But that's okay, Dan. You can come back and watch the show, and also hit the sub button for me at YouTube at Sportswire Radio 6579. If I get to 1,000 subs, Will is going to roast me like a lot of people that will come onto my show. He's going to roast me. He's going to be like, you can be the MC of the 1,000 subscriber roast. You can roast me with a lot of guys. I'll make sure Jimmy's not on that show. So you can
I want Jimmy on that show because I need
a lot of people want to be on that show because people really want to roast me for for everything I've done. Yeah,
I'm like the Don Rickles of professional wrestling.
You certainly you have better hair though and more hair. Because he didn't have much hair. I was actually watching the Vice documentary on Arsenio Hall, and they showed Don Rickles in the beginning, and he didn't really have much hair. I think you're a lot more funnier, have a lot more hair, have a little bit more character. So, I mean, with all due respect, I'll take you over. I'll take you over as the MC of the roasting versus Don Rickles. So,
well, I know for a fact Don Rickles does not have a certificate of appreciation from Sportswire.
No, he does not. He actually does not. He actually does not. And I'm going to get to 1,000 subscribers. So hopefully I'll see you here on that 1,000 subs because that'll be fun. A lot of people, but let me give you the floor. Let me give you some closing thoughts. Anything else you'd like to plug, share, and say? Take it away.
Total fucking chaos is the reason that you cannot have good things. Thank you.
Yes, sir. I'm going to remember that. And when all bad things come my way, I'll make sure to do the total effing chaos. And who's going to be on the show tomorrow? That would be this guy, Max the Hammer, who's spelled with 2 X's. And then I have James Taylor, the TikTok man, who's going to find out about CM Punk. I'm going to ask him tomorrow night about the whole thing with CM Punk. He's going to be here tomorrow night, so I'll make sure to ask him about that because he's working on it. So he'll be here at 10:30. Max the Hammer is here at 8 o'clock. So he really, he comes out with like a Steven Regal 1998 gimmick with a hammer. He literally comes. It'll be interesting. I don't know how it'll go, but maybe it'll go interesting. I don't know, but tune in for it. All great stuff. If you want to follow Will and Total Effing Chaos one more time, that's all their links. They're on YouTube. They're on Instagram. He's on Facebook. Check them out there. There's so many other ways to get in touch. Please support them. Support the group. They're about all wrestling matters. They're going to be out here this weekend. They're going to be out all throughout the month of September. Please support them. Hardcore has been a friend of the show for a long time. Support those. And the next time we're going to see him here, well, he'll be in the Hall of Fame. He'll bring anybody he wants to bring from the group, whatever else, and he'll roast me when I get to 1,000 subs. And thank you to Angie for setting this up. Thank you so much. This has been a lot of fun. I kind of needed this show. I think a lot of people wanted to see it, and they got it. And I'll see you next month, and we'll make that happen.
Okay.
All right, that was Will Carroll of Total Effing Chaos. He was also the man behind National Teen Set Outsider. You've seen him do comedy. You've seen him in the punk rock scene, DJing, radio hosting, but he is a part of right now Total Effing Chaos. They're going to be at a whole bunch of different places near you. Check out their Instagram and Facebook for more information. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice figuratively and literally where all wrestling matters. If you're on sportswireradio.org, you're going back to your regular programming. If you're on YouTube, I'll be back here twice tomorrow. If you're on LinkedIn, X, and Twitter, thank you so much for tuning in. And thank you to Angie for setting this opportunity up for everybody in the chat as well. And until then, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are on the number one global radio station that is Sportswire Radio, where all